Live on a Monday night at Utah Grizzlies hockey, as it's Game 6 of the Mountain Division semifinal series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. It's do or die for the Grizzlies tonight as Idaho leads the series 3-2 as the Grizzlies won the first 2 games of the series over at Idaho Central Arena. Game 1 was a 3-0 victory as Trent Miner earned a 43-save shutout. In Game 2, Utah won 3-2, and then the scene shifted to Maverik Center, and the Grizzlies lost 3 straight overtime games. They lost 3-2 in Game 3 as Willie Niram scored 26 seconds into the extra session in overtime. In Game 4 was an exciting 6-5 game as Owen Hedrick fired a shot that got redirected by Ty Pelton Bice's stick. Hedrick took the shot from the right point, and then in Game 5, from exactly the same spot, Owen Hedrick fired away. It bounced off of Ryan Domowski, then bounced off the high stick of Willie Niram and ended up in the back of the net as Idaho won 3-2. A very controversial ending from Grizzlies fans' eyes, although it doesn't appear like playing with the high stick and having the puck go to the back of the net off that high stick is a reviewable play. Guy and I will talk about that in the next segment about what is a reviewable play and what isn't. And then we'll also talk about Game 6. As it's do or die for the Grizzlies, they need a victory tonight, and they also need a victory tomorrow in Game 7. But first things first, it's Game 6 over at Idaho Central Arena. The Grizzlies are the road team today, and that might not be a bad thing, as the road team has won each of the first 5 games of this series. And watch out for the team that scores first, as it has won 4 of the last 5 games in this series, the team that has found the back of the net first. Utah does have an edge in the goal count on Idaho, 15-14 in the series. And 4 of the 5 games have been decided by 1 goal. So it should be a lot of fun tonight. Grizzlies and the Steelheads. Guy and I are hanging out at the lobby at Maverik Center, and we'll try to describe the game the best we can and hope our computer screen doesn't freeze. When we come back, we'll talk with Guy. We'll recap the controversy from Game 5, and we'll preview Game 6 as we're in business on a Monday night, and you're listening to the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto Kennecott.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies pregame report. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. The controversial goal that was scored by Idaho in overtime on Saturday's Game 5. We're wondering if it was a reviewable play. Once we saw a replay, we realized that Willie Niram played it with a high stick, but it doesn't appear that it was a reviewable play. Really, in this league, it seems like the only thing that can be reviewed is things involving the goal line, like the puck crossing the goal line, or the puck crossing the goal line prior to the goal frame being dislodged, or if the puck crossed the goal line after time had expired at the end of a period, or if there's goaltender interference. And the reason why that would be a reviewable play is, did goaltender interference happen before the puck crossed the goal line? Now, the situation where something fishy happening on the way to the puck crossing the goal line appears like it's not a reviewable play. However, you look at Rule 88.1, video review, it says it shall be the referee's sole discretion as to whether to use the use of video replay systems shall be utilized for any apparent goal or non-goal that takes place during the course of the game. But if you're talking about something fishy being taking place before the puck crossed the goal line, like being played with a high stick, it appears it's not a reviewable play. It just happened to be a great break for Idaho and a tough luck loss for the Grizzlies in Game 5.
I mean, that about sums it up, Tyson. Tough break for the Grizzlies. I think this first part that you just mentioned it really stands out to me. The fact that the referee, it's his sole discretion. whether the review system is used for any apparent goal or non-goal that takes place during course of the game, but playing the puck with a high stick prior to a goal being scored is not on that list of things that he can review. So I think for the Grizzlies, the rules let you down in that last game in Game 5, because from everything that we saw from the replay, that was played with a high stick. So I think the Grizzlies would certainly have a case taking this to league meetings, perhaps having the rules changed over the course of the summer. But as for Game 5, there's really nothing the Grizzlies could have done about it. And so it's in the past. Idaho has a 3-2 series lead, and the Grizzlies are going to have to find a way to take care of business at Idaho Central Arena today.
And if you're the Grizzlies, you just have to move on to Game 6. What happened in Game 5 is just that. It's in the past. For the Grizzlies, they know they can win in that building. They've done so 5 times this season, 3 in the regular season and 2 here in the postseason. I think for the Grizzlies, you have some confidence that knowing that you've won in that building before, and obviously you're going to have to win tonight or it's time to play golf.
Yeah, I mean, for the Grizzlies, it's just about coming in and taking care of business. I mean, the road team has won every single game in this series, so that goes in the Grizzlies' favor. But I think if you're the Grizzlies, you just have to look around the locker room and say, we got a really good group here. I don't think it's time for us to be golfing it. I think this is too good of a team for us to be done this week. So I think with the guys in the locker room, I think that is the mentality for the Grizzlies, just based off of what we've seen from them all season long. I think this is too special of a team for it to end here. I expect the Grizzlies to put out their best effort here in Game 6 to try and force a Game 7 tomorrow.
The Grizzlies get the Rooster Jordan Martell back tonight, and Johnny Walker is a scratch. That's a changes from Game 5. And for Idaho, Jack Becker is in, and Justin Misiak is out due to injury. Otherwise, it seems like the lineups are pretty similar for both teams, and it's an interesting goaltending matchup. Adam Schill for Idaho and Trent Miner for Utah. Both guys have been outstanding.
Yeah, and it's made for a really great series, Tyson. I mean, we were just seeing a bit of a goaltending goal aside from that one game that just had 11 goals total. But, I mean, really, it's just been Trent Miner, the story for the Grizzlies. I mean, he wins team MVP coming into this game, and for good reason. I mean, I don't think the Grizzlies make the playoffs without his play at the turn of the calendar year. Helps the Grizzlies get into the playoffs, and then once the Grizzlies make it in, he has phenomenal performances in really all games of this series, including the Game 4 game where we saw 11 total goals. I mean, he made a save when the save was needed, and that's exactly what the Grizzlies needed, and that's why they're even playing in the Game 6 right now, is because of the play of Trent Miner.
The power play was pretty slow to go for both sides in the first 3 games of the series. Then in Game 4, Idaho went 2 for 5 on the power play, and the Grizzlies went 2 for 4. And in Game 5, both teams went 1 for 3. I got a feeling the power play is going to make a big difference tonight.
I agree, Tyson. I really think that special teams for the Grizzlies is going to make or break this game. We've seen the Steelheads have very good special teams throughout the course of the regular season. Really had trouble catching fire here in the postseason, but it seemed like once they figured out what they were doing, it started to click. And really, both teams kind of got off to a slow start in the special teams department in the postseason. But I think that's just a factor of these teams playing a crazy amount of times. We're into the 20s of how many times the Grizzlies and Steelheads have faced off this season. So they know each other very, very well. And so I think it took some time for both teams to adjust throughout the course of this series to really fine-tune their special teams. But now we're starting to see power plays are starting to click. And I think in a game like this, you're right. It's whoever capitalizes on those opportunities, that's the team that's probably going to win the game.
If you count the 2 preseason games, this is the 26th meeting between the Grizzlies and Steelheads. 2 in the preseason, 18 in the regular year, and another 6 here in the playoffs. Who's your pick for the Optum first goal of the game? Optum is committed to making healthcare work better, leading the way to better experiences, better health, and lower costs for you. Guy, who's scoring first for the Grizzlies tonight?
Well, Tyson, the one constant for the Grizzlies all season long has been the stellar play of Cameron Wright. I think this is the biggest game for the Grizzlies all season long. And I think that's where the biggest player, the best roster, needs to shine. I mean, he's proven that he was dominant in the regular season, was the team's leading scorer. He knows how to score in clutch moments. Give me Cameron Wright.
You got Cameron Wright. I've got a defenseman scoring first tonight. Give me Bryson Martin. That's right. Bryson Martin, I think, is going to score first for the Grizzlies tonight.
Well, that's a good pick, Tyson. I really think that Bryson Martin entering the series last game in Game 5 really made an impact. I think he played quite well. I think really as a team, the Grizzlies played well. They just weren't able to get it done in overtime. But I think you're right. I think Bryson Martin can be a big factor here in today's game.
Guy made a good pick in Cameron Wright. He leads the Grizzlies with 6 points through 5 games in the series for Idaho. Owen Hedrick has 6 assists in 5 games. Remember, he took the shot in the game winner in each of the last 2 games. It was redirected. In Game 4, it was redirected by Ty Pelton-Bice. And in Game 5, it was Willie Niram who was the star. Niram had the game-winning goal in Game 3 as well, 26 seconds into overtime on the power play. I think the scenario is simple for the Grizzlies. End it in regulation. Utah's won 7 times against Idaho in the postseason all time. All 7 of them have come in regulation. The last 9 Idaho postseason victories against the Grizzlies have all come in overtime. Should be a lot of fun. Grizzlies and the Steelheads. When we come back, we'll go over the lineups for both teams. It's Game 6 of the Mountain Division semifinal series. Idaho leads 3-2. It's an elimination for the game for the Grizzlies. They need a victory tonight, or they're going to be playing golf later this week. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Let's get to the lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Utah Grizzlies, who are led by second-year head coach Ryan Kanaswich. His assistant is the Sandy, Utah native Jared Pike. We don't know who the starters are, but we do know that Trent Miner is starting in net for the 6th straight postseason game. Miner in 5 playoff games has a record of 2-0-3 with 1 shutout. That came in Game 1 where he stopped all 43. He has a 2.75 goals against average and .929 save percentage. Miner, a former 7th-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche back in 2019. He is in the second year of a 3-year NHL entry-level deal. He's got 11 professional shutouts, including 10 with the Grizzlies over the last 2 years. The backup goaltender is going to be Garrett Metcalf, and Lucas Preek is out of the lineup. He's the 3rd goalie. 6th defenseman for the Grizzlies tonight, James Shearer, is going to be wearing number 10. He's 5'9" and 185 pounds. He's one defenseman. He will be paired up with Luke Martin, who has 2 assists in 5 playoff games. Martin was named to the league's All-Star team this year as a member of the Jacksonville Icemen. It's his 2nd full season as a pro. You'll also see Bryson Martin in there wearing number 14. He is my pick for the Optum first goal of the game. He'll be paired up with the captain, Connor McDonald, who has 6 penalty minutes in 5 games. Aaron Tho's been outstanding for the Grizzlies. He's got 2 assists in 5 games and a +3 rating. And he'll be paired up with Kyle Mayhew, who in 5 playoff games has 2 goals and 1 assist and a +4 rating. So once again, the 6th defenseman for the Grizzlies tonight, Shearer, Luke Martin, along with Bryson Martin, no relation, along with Connor McDonald, the Grizzlies captain, and the law firm of Tho and Mayhew. First line forwards for the Grizzlies tonight, Brandon Cutler spent some time with 3 different AHL clubs this season. He's got 2 assists in 5 playoff games. He'll be lined up next to Zach Sekos, who scored a goal in Game 5. Sekos is playing his 3rd game of the postseason. He was outstanding in the regular year, averaging just about a point a game for the Grizzlies. He had 25 points in 30 games this season, 13 goals and 12 assists. Taron Pfizer, watch out for him on Utah's power play. He's got 2 power play goals in this series, and he led the Grizzlies with 12 power play goals in the regular season. He finished 2nd on the club with 27 goals this year. So Cutler, Sekos, and Pfizer are the top forward line tonight. Dakota Raby is going to be on the 2nd forward line. He's got 1 goal in 4 playoff games. He'll be paired up with Kyle Betts, who has 5 points in 5 games in this series, and Cameron Wright, who leads the Grizzlies with 6 points in 5 playoff games. Wright led the Grizzlies this season with 29 goals and 63 points. He also led the Grizzlies in shots on goal with 281. So the second line forwards are Raby, Betts, and Wright. Third line forwards, Nolan Ritchie, who's going to be wearing number 11. Ritchie scored a goal on Saturday night in Game 5, 3 minutes in. He'll be paired up with Keaton Jamison, who's been about as impressive as any Grizzlies forward. Jamison in 5 playoff games has 1 goal and 3 assists, and he also leads all Grizzlies forwards with a +4 rating here in the series. The Rooster Jordan Martell's back in there. He was the league's player of the week for the final week of the regular season from April 10th through the 16th. Martell will be wearing number 27. He's got 3 points in 4 games this series. So the third-line forwards are Nolan Ritchie, Keaton Jamison, and the Rooster, Jordan Martell. We will also see Tyler Penner, the Iron Man, in there. He'll be paired up with Dylan Fitz. Fitz has got 2 goals in 5 games. The 2 goals are tied for the club lead with Kyle Mayhew, Taryn Pfizer, and Cameron Wright. So that's the 17 skaters on the ice for the Grizzlies, and Trent Miner will be starting in net. Starting goaltender for the Idaho Steelheads is Adam Scheel. He's making his 6th appearance in this series. He's got a record of 3-2 with a 2.58 goals against average and a .911 save percentage. Once again, we don't know the starters for the Steelheads, but we do know some guys to watch out for. Owen Hedrick leads the way with 6 assists in 5 games. He's been outstanding. He's been paired up a lot with Patrick Kudla, who's got 3 assists in 5 games. We'll also see Dawson Bardo in there. He's got 3 assists in 5 playoff games. Cody Haskinen has 1 goal and 1 assist in 5 games. And we also see Casey Johnson, who was impressive in Game 5. And Nick Canati is believed to be in there as well, wearing number 3. He's got a ton of speed. The one change in the forward lineup to Idaho, as you know, from Game 5's lineup, Jack Becker will be in there. He's scoreless in 2 playoff games. He'll replace Justin Misiak, who got injured halfway through Saturday's game. Misiak had 2 assists in 5 games. Watch out for Ty Pelton-Bice. He's got 3 goals in the playoffs. And A.J. White, their captain, has been a big game player. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in 5 games. Jordan Kawaguchi in 3 games, all of them at Maverik Center with 1 goal and 2 assists. But that's really the dangerous thing about Idaho, and that's where I think the Grizzlies' forward depth is going to have to come up big, is Idaho's got a lot of talented forwards, and I think the Grizzlies, here with their playoff lineup, really have matched up with a lot of talented forwards of their own.
I agree, Tyson. I think that's the reason why we're in a Game 6 right now, is just because of the depth of the Grizzlies going up against the depth of the Steelheads, 2 really deep teams going at it in this series. But you look at the Steelheads, there's a lot of playmakers in their lineup. I think you pointed one out at the top of that list is Owen Hedrick. I mean, you think about the overtime goals that the Steelheads scored. There he was at the blue line, just firing them away, looking for a tip in out in front. And I think that's going to be part of the Steelheads game plan coming into this game, because we talked about how great Trent Miner's been. .929 save percentage in this series. I mean, if he can see it, he's probably going to stop it. So for the Steelheads, we've seen a lot of screens, a lot of tip-ins, and it seems to be working for them. The Grizzlies need to find a way to combat that here in Game 6.
And it doesn't even mention Ryan Domowski, who had a goal in Game 5. He had 30 regular season goals, and Justin Ducharme might have been the star of all stars for Idaho. And amongst the forwards, he had 1 goal and 1 assist in Game 5. So it should be a lot of fun tonight. Grizzlies and the Steelheads. We just hope the computer screen doesn't freeze, so Guy and I will be able to describe the game for all the YouTube listeners. And it should be a lot of fun when we come back in 2 minutes. We'll have face-off over at Idaho Central Arena as Grizzlies face elimination. They are down 3-2 in the best-of-7 series. Don't forget the winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen Americans and Kansas City Mavericks set. Allen leads that series 3-2, and currently Game 6 is going on right now. Guy, do you have an update on that Allen-Kansas City score?
I do, Tyson. They're just a little over 5 minutes into the second period. Allen has a 1-0 lead.
So Allen's up 1-0. They could advance to the second round with a victory tonight. When we come back, we'll have face-off over in Boise. It's the Grizzlies and the Steelheads coming up next on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
It's a big night for hockey as the season is on the line as Utah Grizzlies trail the best-of-7 series 3-2 as they take on the Idaho Steelheads. Trent Miner gets a start in net for the Grizzlies. He has stopped 184 of 198. He'll be going up against Adam Shield as puck at center ice, and the faceoff is won by the Grizzlies. They skate from left to right wearing a white jersey with black numbers and professional green trim. Luke Martin moves it ahead, throws it towards Kyle Betts. He couldn't reach it. No icing as Idaho skates from right to left as we see it from Flow Sports. As Kawaguchi loses it, Luke Martin will bounce it off the Steelhead. It goes to Raby, right point. He gains the line and gets hit. Puck goes back to neutral ice. Luke Martin moves it ahead. Puck goes wide of Cameron Wright. As now to the far side, A.J. White loses it. Raby battles with him. He'll throw it towards Sekos. He gets hit just outside the Idaho blue line. 35 seconds in, Idaho with the puck as they skate from right to left wearing a blue jersey with white numbers and white lettering in the back. A little bit of black mixed in on the forearms. Dawson Bardo behind his net will chip it to the near side for Casey Johnson. He'll skate out towards neutral ice, and he'll chip it ahead. Grizzlies picking off. Utah with a left wing pass to Sekos. He'll skate towards his right. He tried to chip it over to Brandon Cutler. It glanced off a skate. Now Idaho crosses center ice. Bice overskates the puck at the blue line towards Utah's zone. Idaho gets it back. They'll backpedal into their own zone. They'll chip it ahead. Puck goes towards Pfizer. He'll skate towards the center ice logo, and he'll get it to Bryson Martin in the right wing. Martin enters the zone, right point, lefty shot, kick saved by Shield. Rebound goes out to the far side. Idaho gets it. They get to center ice. Demowski enters the zone, and he'll dump it into the far corner. He chases after it as he pushes Connor McDonald. Demowski chips it, hits the side of the net. Now he'll skate towards the far side. Now he'll throw it to the point. Back to Demowski on the right side. He'll drop it off for Hedrick. Hedrick will take a righty shot, and it goes wide as it bounced off the glass. McDonald far corner with a backhand pass out to Brandon Cutler. He'll get to center ice, and he'll drive it in from a lefty blast as it bounces off the backboard. Shield throws it to the far corner. Jordan Martell skates over there, bounced off of him. As the Steelheads have the puck, they'll throw it to Ducharme at the Idaho blue line. He'll move it out to center ice. Idaho left wing. Throws it to Miller. Now back to Heiskanen. He'll feed it to his right. Idaho enters the zone. Steelheads skate towards the corner. Ducharme battles as Luke Martin comes up with the puck as he'll throw it towards the far wing boards. Grizzlies get it, and they'll chip it back towards Martin, who skates around Utah's net. Near side, he'll lift it in the air. It bounces over Idaho's head, and it looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies. We got our first whistle, 2 minutes and 15 seconds into the contest. What have you seen here early on?
Well, I like the puck possession by the Grizzlies to start this game, something they kind of struggled with the games here at Maverik Center, but like the Grizzlies taking care of possession early on. And I also like the play of Luke Martin. You said his name a few times to start. I think that's a player that really needs to step up in an elimination game for the Grizzlies.
No score draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone. 17:45 left in the first. We're just underway, so grab some chips and dip and a beverage of your choice and enjoy a little bit of Monday with us. Idaho wins the draw. Heiskanen skates towards the far corner. Now around Utah's net, he'll skate in. Backhand shot goes wide. Puck goes towards Heiskanen. He's on the left side as Kawaguchi throws it towards the corner. It's taken away by the Martell, the Rooster. He'll throw it ahead. James Shearer skates across the line. He'll veer off to the left. Now he'll get towards Ritchie. He'll take a lefty shot, saved by Shield. Now he gets some pushing and shoving, and as Heiskanen goes to confront the Rooster, Tyler Penner in the area as well. 17:23 left in the first. Draw is going to be in the Idaho zone as Shearer got the puck. He threw it to his left for Ritchie, and Ritchie had a pretty good look from just outside the left circle, and Shield made a routine glove save. As Martell will skate towards the bench. He missed game 5, but he's back in there. Martell, an outstanding regular season after coming over in a trade with the Fort Wayne Comets in December. Tyler Penner will take the drop. Dylan Fitz out on the ice. Penner's actually in the right wing. Let's see who's taking the face off. I think it's Jamison. I'll make that Brandon Cutler. Cutler will take the draw for Utah. 17:23 left in the first. As Idaho wins the draw, we apologize. We're forced to do a remote broadcast tonight. Idaho chips off the near boards. It goes to center ice. Now back to the Grizzlies zone. They get it to center ice left wing. They dump it in. Casey Johnson chases after it. He'll slide it along the near wing boards. Franklin battles with Penner. As Penner throws it towards Fitz. Right point. Righty shot. Kick saved by Shield. Puck goes towards the right corner. Now Idaho gets it behind their net. As they skate from right to left, as we see it from Flow Sports, we're 3 minutes in, still no score. Grizzlies with the first couple shots of the contest. Idaho moves into Grizzlies territory. Pass goes wide. Chasing after it's Aaron Tho, no icing as he skates towards the near corner. Now he moves ahead to Cameron Wright, lifts it in the air. Dakota Raby gets it off the far boards. He'll skate towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot and it goes wide. Cameron Wright towards the right side, collides with A.J. White. Raby throws it up top for Martin. He'll take a righty shot and it goes wide. Now behind the net, Cameron Wright feeds towards the far side. Somebody off the screen at the left point. Fires towards the net. It goes wide. As Cameron Wright skates towards the near side, he'll get to Martin. Right point. Shot is blocked out in front. Idaho gets it after it lifts high into the air. A.J. White crosses center. He'll skate in towards the middle. Take a lefty shot, and it goes wide as Luke Martin was confronting him. Raby pitches it out to center ice. It goes past everybody. Cutler chases after it. He gets it deep in the Steelheads zone. He skates around the net, and everybody stops skating as it looks like Utah gets called for icing. With 16:06 left here in the first. I think you have to like the aggressiveness of the Grizzlies here early on.
I do, Tyson. I think that's exactly the way they need to approach this game. I mean, what else do you have to lose? I mean, your season's on the line, so you have to come out and play aggressive. And I really like Luke Martin shooting that puck, something I wish he would have done a lot more in Game 5. Seems like he's come out here firing, and he's got a wicked shot. Maybe one will find its way past Shields sometime soon.
16:06 left in the first. Draws in the Steelhead zone. As we're still early on, Zach Sekos take the face off. He's got Taryn Pfizer to his right. Watch out for Taryn Pfizer. It seems like those big games, when you need a big goal, Taryn Pfizer usually finds a way to come up with one. Draw one by the Steelheads. Cutlass skates around Idaho's net as the Steelheads move it ahead. Goes towards the Utah blue line. Grizzlies will tap it off the near boards. Demowski will bounce it off a Grizzly. Now it goes back to Idaho. As they're on their own zone on the near side, they'll feed it across. I think that's Dawson Bardo. As he'll move it ahead as he gets around center ice. Right wing pass. Steelheads gained the line. Right point. Lefty shot goes wide. Puck goes to the corner as Niram gets hit by Connor McDonald. Niram was Game 5's hero. As his long stick will throw it out to the left point. It's picked off by Pfizer. He gets to center ice. He'll throw a left wing pass. Grizzlies enter. They chip it across to Sekos. Right side. Backhand shot goes wide. And looks like the flex out of play. 15:27 left in the first, but the Grizzlies really are doing a good job of the transition game. And it also just seems like the Grizzlies offensively seem to have a lot of confidence and are playing assertive out there.
I agree, Tyson, and that's really the reason why Grizzlies won games 1 and 2 is they were playing this exact style of game, this exact way, this kind of aggressive nature throughout the full 60 minutes of those first 2 games. So if they're able to do that here, I like their chances.
Jamison will take the draw. It's won by Utah in the attack zone. As Jamison centers it, it's picked off. As Idaho plays it, as Ty Pelton by stumps in from around center ice. Miner behind his net gets it. He'll toss it towards the near side. Goes back over. Utah throws to the point. It's cut off by Kanadi. He'll take a lefty shot that goes wide from the left point. Over to the right side, Idaho feeds it back to the corner. Now they skate around Utah's net. As Idaho towards the near side, will chip it up top. Now it goes to Kanadi in the high slot. He'll feed it to the left circle for Jack Becker. He'll take a righty shot, and it's blocked out in front. Tho was in the area. As Idaho skates towards the point, Utah takes it away. Martell ahead towards Ritchie, who gets the center ice, and he'll dump it into the left corner. Kanadi chases after it. He gets there first for Idaho. He'll move it ahead as Idaho gets the center ice. Puck lifted over the stick of Ducharme. He couldn't handle it. Luke Martin moves it ahead. Puck flips high into the air, and it's gloved over his head by the goaltender Adam Shield. He'll hold on with 14:38 left in the first. Still no score, but I think what you like from the Grizzlies defensive units, they're challenging Idaho at neutral ice and really making Idaho work to get into the attack zone.
They're being really assertive, Tyson. It seems like they're trying to stand up Idaho in the neutral zone. And for the most part right now, I feel like it's working. I think one of the things that went against the Grizzlies in the games here at Maverik Center was just they were letting the Steelheads have way too much time with the puck. Just puck possession in Idaho's hands was really killing the Grizzlies in that game. So far, it seems like it's been in the Grizzlies' favor in Game 6.
Utah's outshot Idaho 3-1 so far. Nolan Ritchie, Dylan Fitz, and Bryson Martin have Utah's shots. Ryan Domowski has the one Idaho look. Draw in the near circles, won by the Grizzlies. Fitz shot is blocked by Cody Heiskanen as a puck towards the far side, deep in the Steelheads zone. As Utah, James Shearer battles. It goes over towards the far side. Fitz in the area, so is Pfizer. Pfizer throws it to the left point. Now to the left point, though, with a shot that goes wide as Pfizer in the corner. Blocked away by Heiskanen. Pfizer battles. He goes on two knees, no call. As Idaho towards the near side, bounces off the Kawaguchi and Zane Franklin. Idaho still in their own zone. Whips it around to the far side. It goes back to center ice. Grizzlies get it. Shearer over to Martin. Now back to Shearer wearing an A on his sweater. He'll pitch it out to neutral ice. It goes back into the Grizzlies Steelhead zone. Left side, righty shot. Saved by Shield. That was taken by Cameron Wright, who had a good look with 13:55 left in the first. Dawson Bardo has a word with Cameron Wright as both teams will cease and desist and head to their bench. First time out of the night, no score. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 4-1. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
No score at Idaho Central Arena. Utah Grizzlies hockey brought to you by Coca-Cola, where real magic is only a sip away. Grizzlies hockey is also brought to you by Maverik, Adventure's first stop. Draws in the left circle. Grizzlies have had a shot edge here early on as Kyle Betts will take the draw for Utah. Over in the far circle, it's won by Utah. Betts over to Raby. He'll drop it off to the left point. I think that's Shearer. Now to Luke Martin on the right side. Martin dances around. He'll throw it off the backboards. Kyle Betts around Idaho's net with speed. Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 5-1. Shearer over to Raby in the far corner. Now Cameron Wright gets held up by Dawson Bardo as Idaho spins it towards the near side. Grizzlies have been in the attack zone just about throughout the first 7 minutes of this game. Idaho gets the puck far side. They'll get it out to center ice. Pass connects. Idaho throws it towards the middle. Domowski will take a lefty shot, and it goes wide. Stick save on Minor as Grizzlies in the area. Over in the near corner, Kyle Betts gets it. He'll throw it back towards the far side. Dakota Raby over in the far side as he'll lift it out towards center ice. Goes to Cameron Wright. It goes over his stick. Chasing after it's Casey Johnson as we get a whistle. 13:07 left in the first period. Still no score, but the Grizzlies have had a good shot edge here so far. White play's been physical as Zane Franklin delivers a hit on Kyle Betts, and then he skated towards the bench himself. Jack Becker, he's the new addition to the Idaho lineup, replacing Justin Misiak, who's out due to an injury. He got hurt in the second period on a hit from Dylan Fitz. Draws in the Grizzlies zone. Watch out for the defensive combination of Patrick Kudla and Owen Hedrick. It's going to be interesting to see who gets that first goal tonight. The team that scored first ended up winning the first 4 games of the series. Utah scored first in Game 5, exactly 3 minutes in. Draws in the near side of the Grizzly zone. Utah's had a shot edge here early on. Elimination game for Utah. Idaho leads the set 3-2. Utah wins the draw. Taryn Pfizer towards the near wing boards, gets double teamed. Now throw it back towards Kyle Mayhew. Quickly skates around Utah's net. Grizzlies moving out to center ice. Zach Sekos left wing. He'll dump it in. Pfizer chases after it. He avoids a check of Kudla. As Pfizer has the puck, he'll skate towards the point. He gets held up. Now Pfizer feeds it back to the corner. He loses his stick. As Cutler over towards Pfizer gets hit by Kudla. Now the puck goes back over to Idaho. They skate from right to left in the first period as Idaho gains center ice. They skate down the middle now. Becker drifts off to the left. He gets to the point. He'll take a righty shot, and it goes wide as it bounces off the protective netting and goes out of play with 12:32 left in the first. Kind of interesting to see the road team win all 5 games here so far in the series. If you're a Grizzlies fan, that's a little bit of optimism, as after all, the game is in Idaho Central Arena.
That's right. You got to put a smile on the face of Grizzlies fans with that stat. And so the next 2 games, if there is a game 7, will be at Idaho Central Arena.
Draws one by the Steelheads in the attack zone as Cody Haskinen throws it towards the corner. Now Ducharme around the net as Grizzlies cut it off in the corner. As Utah to the near side battles with A.J. White. Jamison in the area. He gets the puck. He'll feed it to his left. Grizzlies still in the zone. Now they throw it to Jamison at center ice. Left wing. He'll backhand it in. Shield behind his net plays it. Now he'll give way as Steelheads skate towards the near side, and they chip it out to center ice. Ducharme gets to center ice. Right wing. He'll move it in. Grizzlies throw it back to center as Idaho regathers it. Steelheads skate from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports 8 minutes in as Idaho will throw it back towards Cody Haskinen. Right wing pass deflects off the skate of a Steelhead and goes deep in the Grizzlies zone. Minor throws to the far side. Now goes to the right point. Cut off by Wade Murphy. He'll skate towards the far side. Now Murphy with speed around Utah's net. He'll skate towards the left point. Now he takes a right turn. He skates towards the right circle, drops off for the point. Now goes back to Murphy. He'll chip it towards Bice, who couldn't handle it. Good defensive play by the captain, Connor McDonald. As Jordan Martell gets the center ice, he'll throw it towards Ritchie. Ritchie gets it from the left side. He'll skate towards the corner. He stops as he's being shadowed by Canati. He'll throw it around the wall. Bardo gets cut off by Penner as he tried to drift towards the right corner, did Bardo. Idaho gets the puck as they'll get it over to Pelton Bice. Right wing pass connects. Idaho's Wade Murphy gathers it right side, fires it towards the corner. Now they try to center it to Kawaguchi out in front. Pass goes wide as Utah tries to clear it out to center. It bounced off at Johnson. Kawaguchi gets it. He gets dragged down by Penner. Now Johnson left point shot is blocked out in front. Now Idaho tries to center it to Franklin. Take a shot. He scores. And Zane Franklin gives Idaho a 1-0 lead as he skated down the middle and got a centering pass from his left and just put it away with a righty shot. As the Steelheads take a 1-0 lead as the one fish gets thrown on the ice as the customary after Idaho scores their first goal. Just kind of a hustle play by Zane Franklin getting out in front. The puck ended up there, and he ended up putting it in the back of his net.
Zane Franklin was in the right place at the right time as we check out the replay here on Flow Sports. Just a pass from below the goal line. He skates into the slot, and he beats Trent Miner. And really, just a bang-bang play, but the Grizzlies played really tight defense in games 1 and 2. Weren't able to keep it too tight there, and they let one in.
It was Ty Pelton Bice that threw the puck from the left goal line onto Zane Franklin's stick down the middle. Franklin sporting a beard. The former Allen American might end up facing his former team if Idaho wins this series. And Allen holds on to defeat Kansas City tonight. They lead 1-0 in the second period. 10:56 left in the first. Idaho draws first blood. It's Zane Franklin's first of the series. And for Ty Pelton Bice's first assist, he had 3 goals previously in the set. As draw goes over towards Trent Miner, he'll feed it to the near side. Utah skates from left to right. Cameron Wright gets blasted, neutralized by Franklin. Kyle Betts gains line. He'll drop it off for Raby, who skates towards the left circle. Raby now around the net, wraparound shot, saved by Shield. Now out in front, Beck looking for it. Now right to the left side, shot saved by Shield. And everybody goes to grab and confront Cameron Wright after the whistle, as Wright had the audacity to skate in front of the Idaho goaltender and get in that dirty, greasy area, trying to find a way to tie up the game. That's one of the things about Cameron Wright. He's not afraid to get his nose in there and see if he can get those dirty, greasy goals.
Yeah, he's always looking for those dirty, greasy goals, but he's also looking to draw penalties sometimes, which he actually has done a really good job of throughout the course of the season. I mean, they call him the Rat just based on how slippery he is and kind of just weasels his way in there. I mean, he made a point earlier on in the season where it seems like he gets in those scuffles but never ends up actually fighting anybody. I mean, that's what a Rat does, but Cameron Wright does a great job of getting those greasy goals and drawing penalties for the Grizzlies.
Draws give me in the far circle of the Steelhead zone. Zane Franklin, as Idaho's tally, scored 905, and Franklin this season scored 16 goals for the Steelheads this year, 17 overall. He scored 1 goal for Reading earlier in the season. Grizzlies have the puck. They skate around their net as Utah's outshot Idaho 6-3, but Idaho leads the game 1-0. Grizzlies skate in. Kyle Betts towards the left corner, stops to the point, throws to Tho, looked for a one-timer and mishandled it. He gets it back in the right point. They'll fire a lefty shot, and it's blocked out in front by Jade Miller. Idaho gets it, and they'll carry it out to center ice. Right wing, Domowski loses it as he was entering the offensive zone. Tho, with a left wing pass, it connects. Grizzlies skate towards the corner. Beginning hit is... I can't tell that. I think that's Raby as a skate towards the near side. Hedrick will throw it back towards the slot in front of Idaho's net. Now back to Hedrick. We're halfway through the first period. Idaho leads 1-0. The Steelheads lead the series 3-2. Idaho skates down the middle. Left wing pass towards Cudlip. They'll move it ahead. Idaho skates down the middle. Becker trying to chip it towards his right for Ducharme. Pass goes wide and into the far corner deep in the Grizzlies zone. As Ducharme in the area battles with Bryson Martin. Martin kicks it towards the far circle. Idaho gets it up top. Right point, righty shot goes wide. Grizzlies get the rebound, and it's Bryson Martin. He moves out to center ice. Pass doesn't connect. Pfizer chases after it. Shield throws it around his net towards the near side. As Grizzlies throw it towards the corner. Sekos in the area. He gets around Kudla. As Martin throws the puck up top for Pfizer. He centers it. Puck rolls towards Sekos. I try to get Cutler out in front. Pass goes wide. We get a whistle. I think a penalty is going to be called on Idaho. As Zach Sekos was in the left circle, he tried to backhand a pass to Cutler, and Cutler couldn't handle it because he got his stick held up. Jack Becker is going to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. And when we come back in 30 seconds, Utah will be on the power play for the first time tonight. Idaho leads 1-0 on Zane Franklin's first of the series. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network. Idaho leads 1-0, but Jack Becker is in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. The Steelheads forward gets 2 minutes for hooking, time of penalty, 10:52 in. Have you or someone you know been charged with a DUI? Rogers and Russell is Utah's DUI defense firm. Consequences for driving under the influence in Utah are serious, and you need great attorneys on your first line. Look for a letter in the mail from Rogers and Russell inviting you to schedule a free consultation. Don't throw away or disregard this letter. Call and get Utah's #1 DUI defense team, Rogers and Russell. Grizzlies' first power play of the game. Utah is 5 for 21 on the power play in this series. Grizzlies win the draw as Luke Martin throws it to his left. As Grizzlies dance around the left point, they feed it across to Martell. He centers it. Backhand shot goes wide. That was taken by Nolan Ritchie, who scored 3 minutes into Game 5. As Betts throws it to the far side, it's taken by Cameron Wright. As he's on the left side, he'll throw it to Martin in the high slot. He'll take a righty shot. And it goes over the crossbar and bounces off the boards behind Idaho's net. Betts gets held up. Willie Niram will tap it off the near glass, and it goes all the way towards Trent Miner as Willie Niram is able to clear the zone. Miner throws it to the near side. As Utah on the power play, throws it towards the slot. Cameron Wright crosses the center. Left wing pass connects. Grizzlies get to Kyle Betts in the left point. He'll skate towards the left circle. He'll chip it up top for Martin, who will skeet towards his right. Martin to the Rooster on the right side. Martell toe drag, keeps the puck, centering pass shot, saved by Shield. As Colton Keller battles in the corner, Grizzlies come up with it. Ritchie up top for Martin. He'll slide it to his left. Cameron Wright, back to Martin. He's in the left point. Over towards Wright, just outside the left circle. Now to Martin. He'll skeet towards his right. Martin fakes a shot. Now he's to the right side. Over to the Rooster, back to Martin. Martin slides it across to right. One-timer goes wide. Shield might have gotten a piece of it. Idaho skates towards the near wing boards. They get it, and they pitchfork it out of the zone. As Trent Miner skates towards the far corner to cut it off. 35 seconds left in Utah's first power play of the game. Idaho leads 1-0 on Zane Franklin's first of the series. Grizzlies to center ice. They cross in the left wing. Now they gain the offensive line. Cutler skates towards the corner. He stops. He gets held up. Puck goes back up top, and the Grizzlies couldn't keep the line there on the far side. As it goes all the way along the far wing boards, Miner cuts it off behind his net. 15 seconds left in the power play as Mayhew over towards Jamison. Now Pfizer throws it off the stick of Sekos. Pfizer gets it back far side, still in the Grizzly zone. He'll throw it back to the far corners. The Grizzlies skate towards their right. As Becker ready to come out of the box, he'll exit right now. And it's a successful penalty kill by Idaho. Jamison to the right side gets hit. Cudla skates around his net. He'll chip it towards the far side. As Sekos trying to throw it towards the left circle, it's cut off as Heiskanen throws it around Idaho's net. Still, it's chipping out towards center ice. Grizzlies don't have it as Idaho skates towards the right circle. Centers it to Becker, and it goes wide as he couldn't handle it. As deep in the Grizzlies zone, Bryson Martin will throw it back towards McDonald, back to Martin. As Bryson Martin towards the near side. This is 8th different ECHL team. It's his 4th professional postseason game. As Grizzlies move it ahead, it glanced off the stick of Penner. Idaho will chip it off the far boards. They cross center ice. Idaho gains the line from the right side. As over towards the point, Steelheads Ducharme skates towards the right circle, centers it out in front. Steelheads hack away. Minor save. Rebound shot saved by Minor. Grizzlies will bounce it off the near glass, and it exits to center. A.J. White with a right wing pass. Idaho lifts it in the air as it bounces off the left corner on one skip of the ice. As Raby will bounce it off the end boards himself. Now he'll fire it towards the far corner deep in the Grizzlies zone as Penner gets hit. Idaho with the puck as the Steelheads towards the right side. Justin Ducharme dancing around with he'll feed it up top. Casey Johnson, lefty shots blocked in the slot. As it goes back to the left side, Bardo feeds it to the corner for Murphy. He'll throw it around the wall. McDonald skates towards the far corner. He gets this. He'll chip it out of the zone to center ice. Grizzlies will move it ahead to Fitz. He gathers it on a tough catch. He gets hit by Owen Hedrick as Idaho regathers the puck. Jade Miller to the near side. Will move it out to center. Bounced off an Idaho glove and ends up in the Steelheads bench as we get a whistle with 5:35 left in the first. Utah to power play, but couldn't connect as Idaho still leads 1-0 as Franklin scored 9:04 in with Ty Pelton-Bice getting the assists. Let's see if there's a timeout on the ice. This would be a media window with 5:35 left in the first. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Neutral zone draw near Idaho's bench. Less than 6 minutes left in the first period. Steelheads lead 1-0. Utah wins the draw, but it goes behind Luke Martin as Utah skating from left to right here in the first period. Kyle Betts moves ahead looking for Raby. He couldn't reach it. And icing is on the Grizzlies with 5:25 left in the first. Zane Franklin has the game's only goal. He scored 9:04 in. Shots are pretty close to even. Utah was 6 and Idaho has taken 5. Guy, what have you seen here so far?
Well, Tyson, I really like the aggression from the Grizzlies to start this game. Unfortunately, they let in that first one off of just a below the goal line feed out to the slot. Franklin's in there. He scores. Grizzlies do get on the power play. I like what they were able to do, but they just weren't able to score. And we mentioned in the pregame, you got to make the most of your power play chances. It seems like whoever wins the special teams battle is probably going to win this game.
Draws the near side of the Grizzlies zone as Utah wins it. Dakota Raby deep in his own end. Will skate around Trent Miner's net. He loses it as Idaho throws it up top as Domowski around the wall. Wade Murphy's had a good series. He skates towards the near side. He'll tap it off the boards himself. Arm is raised by the referee. It's a penalty, and it's going to be, who's it going to be on? Let's see. Cameron Wright gets pushed by Domowski. Skating over there's James Shearer as the whistle blew. And let's see who the penalty's on with 5:06 left in the first. As it looked like Idaho might have been the last one to touch it up. Domowski's going to skate towards the bench. It's going to be a power play for Idaho, it looks like, for 2 minutes. Let's see if they'll show the Grizzly in the box, and it's Dakota Raby who gets some airtime on Flow Sports, and he gets a 2-minute penalty as Idaho goes on the power play for the first time tonight. Steelheads are 4 for 23 on the power play in this series. Utah's 0 for 1 on the man advantage. It's Idaho's first chance on the power play. As the draw is going to be in the left circle, Justin Ducharme will take her and make that Ty Pelton-Bice, number 17. He'll take it, and he wins it. Hedrick to the left side, feeds it across. Idaho fakes a one-timer as they'll skate towards the high slot. Kudla over to the right circle. Domowski, lefty shot, saved by Miner. Rebound goes to Idaho in the far corner as they get it up top for Kudla. He'll throw it to Hedrick on the left side, just outside the circle. Back to Kudla. He'll slide it to his right for Domowski. As Domowski hangs around, he had 30 goals in the regular season. He'll throw it to the far goal line. Bice across to Hedrick, who couldn't handle it. Now he regathers it. Hedrick to the left side, switches places with Kudla. Hedrick over to Kudla now on the left side. He'll throw it to the near goal line for Nearham. He feeds it across, bounced off a Grizzly stick and flies out of the zone. Kind of a strange bounce as to how it exited the zone. Idaho chases after it. 1:17 and counting left in their first power play of the game. 4:20 and counting left in the first. Steelheads lead 1-0 as Cudlip gains the line. Right side as they chip it across to Bice. He'll skate towards the left circle. He'll look to center it out in front. Pass goes wide of Cudlip as Steelheads the right side. Feed it up top for Cudlip on the left side. He'll get it across to Demowski. He'll take a lefty shot and it hits the side of the net as the net looks like it might have come off its moorings, and it does, as we get a stoppage of play with 4:01 left in the first and 56 seconds left in the power play.
Well, it seems like the Steelheads are trying to isolate a skater on the near side at the circle. We saw Hedrick fumble the puck, or else he would have had a good chance, and I think it was also Neerum that was down there later on in that shift. The Grizzlies need to be aware of that. It seems like that's that Alex Ovechkin office-type play that the Steelheads are looking for.
Minor trying to just cut off the angle there, just move the net open. Trent Minor wearing number 50, got the Avalanche colored gear. Unfortunately for the Avalanche, they got eliminated yesterday in Game 7 by the Seattle Kraken. Kraken win their first playoff series as a franchise. Utah gets it, far side. They try to clear it out, and they do, but it just went out to center. As Idaho throws it to the near side, as they'll back it out into their own end, is Ducharme wearing number 11. He's got outstanding speed. He'll throw it to Dawson Bardo in front of the Idaho net. Bardo will drop it off for Ducharme as Idaho wants to enter the attack zone with momentum. Right wing pass to Kawaguchi. He gets blasted by a nice Grizzlies hit as Martin throws it across. Utah with a lefty clear as it goes all the way towards Adam Shield. He'll get it towards the near goal line as he'll move it ahead to Bardo. 3:25 and counting left in the first. Idaho on the power play for the next 17 seconds. As the Steelheads get to center ice, Ducharme loses it. Betts in the area. Idaho regathers it. White with a rink-wide pass. The Steelheads in the attack zone. Right side, righty shot. Pad saved by Minor. Puck goes to the near side as Utah gathers it, and they clear it out. Unfortunately, we can't identify players here at times, but out of the box, Dakota Raby. It's a Utah disaster cleanup, successful penalty kill. Raby will skate towards the benches. Idaho has the puck deep in their own zone, skating from right to left. Idaho feeds it to the far side as they cross center. Jade Miller gains the line. He'll tap it into the far corner. McDonald chases after it. Idaho gets the puck. They try to center it. Great defensive play by Utah to get a stick in the way. I think that was Bryson Martin. Grizzlies cross center ice. They throw it towards the slot. Fitz couldn't reach it. Now the puck goes towards neutral ice, and it deflects out of play. 2:39 left in the first. That was a great play by Utah, intercepting the centering pass, or else Idaho would have had a good chance.
Yeah, perfect ending to a great penalty kill for the Grizzlies, and really that's been one of their strong suits throughout the course of this series, more so in the first few games than the last three, but penalty kill has been strong for the Grizzlies, and that's part of the reason why they're hanging in there with the Idaho Steelheads in this series.
Cutler will take the draw against Jack Becker. 2:39 left in the first. Action in the Steelhead zone. As Grizzlies really, the first 5 minutes, had the puck in the attack zone quite a bit. Idaho leads 1-0. Shots are pretty close to even. We'll see. I think Idaho might have a slight edge now, as there's 2:38 left in the first. Idaho leads the shot count 7-6. Utah wins the draw left side. Those spins around the boards. Fitz gets cut off by Nick Canati. Now far corner, Grizzlies get hit. Utah with the puck. They fire a righty shot. Glove saved by Shield. That shot was taken by Dylan Fitz, who fired it on net, but Adam Shield makes a routine save with 2:28 left in the first. You talk about X factors for the Grizzlies. I think Dylan Fitz might be one for Utah.
I agree, Tyson. I mean, he's one of those guys that maybe doesn't show up super often, but when he does, it's at a big time. And I really look at Dylan Fitz as the guy that has a wicked shot. We saw him almost use it there on a good shot there.
Fitz has 2 goals in this series. Idaho wins the draw. They get to neutral ice. Colton Keller with a righty shot, and it goes wide. As Jade Miller with a big hit. Keller couldn't handle the puck. Grizzlies skate from left to right. Utah moves it out to center. The Rooster, left wing, he dumps it in. He chases after it. Heiskanen gets there first. Then Heiskanen will toss it from one corner to the other. As Nick Canati with good speed, he crosses center ice. Now he enters the attack zone. He gets around one skater. It rolls off the end boards. Canati chases after it, but Penner throws it to the far side. Grizzlies in control of the puck in their own zone as Martel gets held up. Franklin in the area. Puck goes to the right side. Idaho couldn't keep the line. As Hedrick moves ahead, Grizzlies take it away. Penner throws it towards Dylan Fitz, but it's cut off by Idaho. As there's less than 2 minutes left in the first period. Steelheads get to center ice. Right wing pass. Franklin drops it off. The puck exits the zone. Idaho resets. Cudlip back in his own end. We'll chip it ahead to Demowski. It glanced off his stick. Bryson Martin chases after it in the far corner. Utah zone. Move it ahead. It bounced off a Penner's stick and goes to center ice as Cudlip dumps it back in. Minor behind his net gets to the captain, Connor McDonald. Second year with the Grizzlies. He'll throw it to the far side as Utah will chip it to center. Grizzlies gather the puck. Pass ahead to Jamison. He got just a piece of it as it glides towards the right corner. Jamison, great speed, skates over there. He battles with Cudlow along the wall as Idaho comes up with it. Domowski, rink wide pass. The Steelheads cross center. Idaho dumps it in as chasing after it is Wade Murphy. He hits Luke Martin hard along the end boards of Utah's zone. Far side, Idaho battles along the wall as Casey Johnson skates towards his left. Now he's towards the middle. Left wing chip to Hedrick. He's in the left circle. Righty shot saved by Minor. Buck goes to the right side. Bardo feeds it to the right circle. It goes to A.J. White, who taps it up top. As Idaho gets towards Bardo. One-timer saved by Minor. And Trent doesn't allow a rebound with 36.9 seconds left in the first. That's really been the impressive thing for both goaltenders in this series. You don't see too many rebounds allowed by either unit.
Yeah, we were watching a really great goaltending duel in this series. Two elite talents. You see Trent Minor here just swallow that puck up. I mean, he's not going to let that go. He's like one of those hungry hippos from that game he used to play as a kid, just swallowing up those marbles, in this case, the puck. And he's not letting that one go.
36 seconds left. Utah's outshot Idaho 9-7. Well, it's 9-7 Idaho with the shot lead on the Grizzlies. I was confused by the graphic. Idaho to the left side throws out the backboard. Steelheads battle is Kawaguchi and Martin. Martin goes down on two knees. No penalties. It goes towards the near side. Grizzlies get it. Cameron Wright will toss it towards center ice. It goes back to Dawson Bardo. He moves it ahead. Grizzlies get it back. Less than 20 seconds left in the period. Cameron Wright, left wing, crosses center ice. Now he crosses the blue line. Stops along the far boards. Throws it across. Martin couldn't reach it as Martin gets off the boards. Now Raby skates towards the middle. Lefty shot. Save. Now Raby centers it. Betts with a lefty shot and it goes wide. Grizzlies throw it towards the left point. One-timer goes wide. And that will do it for 20 minutes of play over Idaho Central Arena. Grizzlies had some good looks there in the final 10 seconds, but just couldn't get one past Adam Shield. And we head to the first intermission locker room with Idaho leading 1-0. The only goal in the period was scored by Zane Franklin as he got a centering pass from Ty Pelton-Bice. They also added an assist to Casey Johnson. Time of that goal, 9:04 in. Both teams were 0 for 1 on the power play. Idaho ended up out shooting Utah 10-7 in the period, according to the ECHL stat sheet, unless maybe somebody took a shot at the very end of the period. We'll give you an update on that during the first intermission with some updated stats. We'll also have Guy Chiarenza quarterbacking things, and we'll also go over some scores from around the league, and we'll talk about what the Grizzlies need to do here in the middle frame to come back in this game. Idaho scored first tonight, and this is the third different game that they have scored first in this series. When we come back in 2 minutes, Guy Chiarenza will quarterback first intermission coverage presented by Rio Tinto Kennecott on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. The Steelheads lead Game 6 by the score of 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. This is the Rio Tinto Kennecott First Intermission Report. I'm Guy Chiarenza alongside Tyson Whiting. We're doing a remote broadcast here as we are in the Maverik Center lobby, but we're kept company by the two Turner Cups, and the Grizzlies are looking to stay alive and find a way to put Kelly right in between those two Turners, but they got some work to do. As 9:04 into the first period, Zane Franklin on a pass from below the goal line by Ty Pelton-Bice, he scores and makes it a 1-0 hockey game as he beat Minor, I believe, 5-hole. And so Pelton-Bice and Johnson get the assists on that. That is Zane Franklin's first goal of the postseason, I believe his first point overall. And so that's where we stand after 20 minutes of play. Idaho leads 1-0. They also lead the shot count 10-8. Grizzlies did have the edge earlier on in the first period, but Idaho took the lead later on, and then now lead 10-8 after 20 minutes of play. Each team had a chance on the power play. Jack Becker went to the box earlier on for the Steelheads. Grizzlies were unable to capitalize on that power play opportunity. Then later on in the period, 14:54 in, Dakota Raby got 2 minutes for slashing. Grizzlies penalty kill stood strong. It was a Utah disaster cleanup successful penalty kill, and the Grizzlies were able to kill it off. So each team was 0 for 1 on the power play. Adam Shield got the start in net for the Steelheads. He stopped all 8 shots that he's seen. Trent Minor got the start for the Grizzlies. He stopped 9 of 10. Both of those goaltenders have played in each game of this series, as this is Game 6. Multiple Grizzlies have 2 shots in this game. Nolan Ritchie, Dylan Fitz, and Dakota Raby are the leaders in the clubhouse with 2 apiece. The leader for the Steelheads is number 15, Ryan Domowski, who has 3 shots, but he is yet to record a point. And so for Tyson, to start this game, I really like what we saw from the Grizzlies coming out, being assertive, playing with a lot of aggression, knowing that their season is on the line. And for the most part, it was working. They just couldn't get that first goal. That ends up going to the Steelheads. And then a few penalties later, it's 1-0 after 20 minutes of play.
Yeah, about the first 5 minutes, it seemed like the Grizzlies did a great job controlling the puck and being aggressive, getting it into the attack zone, really trying the best they could to get the first goal. I think the thing, though, is that, the Grizzlies had that offensive zone time, but they just couldn't find a way to get the puck in that spot, that area right in front to get a real true grade A opportunity. And that's really where, where Idaho kept Utah off the scoreboard. And then the goal by Franklin was really just a good play. Pelton-Bice was just right there at the near goal line. Franklin just cut towards the net. Bice to Franklin to the back of the net. And you talk about dependable players. I mean, Zane Franklin, the former Allen American, has really been a strong glue guy for Idaho all year. He started the season with the Reading Royals. He played 4 games there and had 1 goal and 4 assists. He was traded to Idaho, and in 55 games for the Steelheads, he had 16 goals and 17 assists and had a +30 rating. And he's a guy that does a little bit of everything. And, if you need somebody to be aggressive and play an ultra-physical type of game, Franklin could do that as well. And he really complements some of the other skill guys that Idaho brings to the table. And so you talk about kind of a complete team. That's really what Idaho is. And for the Grizzlies, this feels like the type of game where, Cameron Wright, he seems to be battling out there in front and doing his thing. Felt like Dakota Raby was very active in the first period, but it felt like the Grizzlies, some of their best chances came from that forward line of Cutler, Pfizer, and Sekos. It feels like that group, if they find a way to get some good time there in the second period, find some chemistry there, they can end up contributing to Utah's first goal tonight.
I agree, Tyson. I really think you mentioned the depth on both sides in the pregame. I think it's going to come down to that in this game. I mean, you think about Zane Franklin, being that glue guy for the Steelheads. I look at a guy, we talked about him a little bit later on in the first period, but I look at Dylan Fitz as maybe that glue guy for the Grizzlies that comes through in this game. Or maybe Jordan Martell coming back into the lineup. Maybe Keaton Jamison, just one of those guys, maybe on the 3rd or 4th line. I mean, Martell did not play in Game 5. Maybe he's a little bit more rested than the other Grizzlies. And so maybe he's able to come in here in Game 6 and make an impact. Keaton Jamison, one of the Grizzlies' most consistent players all season long. And then Dylan Fitz, it seems like whenever you need a goal, you either look to Cameron Wright or Dylan Fitz, just in those big-time clutch moments, they're able to put pucks away. So for the Grizzlies, I think the key here is just not get discouraged by giving up the first goal. It's tough, even after you dominated play for the most part of the first half of the first period, seems like, and you end up giving up that first goal. It's tough, especially in an elimination game, to just say, well, you know what? We'll be golfing after this one. We'll just play the rest of this game and just have fun. But I don't think that's the kind of team that this Grizzlies team is. I think that they have a lot of confidence in, a lot of pride, and I think they're going to come out here in the second period and look to make a statement against the Steelheads team that set records in the regular season.
It's the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. After one period, Idaho leads 1-0. Be interesting to see what happens here in the next 40 minutes of play. And we apologize on Flow Sports. This stupid remote broadcast thing's not working, and our audio's cutting in and out constantly. So we apologize for that. We'll do the best we can. Unfortunately, some of that's just out of our controls. The winner of this series will face the winner of the Allen Americans Kansas City Maverik series. Allen leads that set 3-2. Early third period, it looks like the Americans are on their way to the second round as they lead 2-0. Stephon Fournier scored 14:09 into the first, his second of the series, and 1:26 into the third. Yakov Novak finds the back of the net for the first time in the series. Allen is led by Kevin Mandalisi, who stopped all 24 so far. Early third period, Allen leads Kansas City 2-0. An Allen victory means that they advance to the Mountain Division Finals and will face the winner of the Steelheads Grizzlies series. Idaho leads 1-0 after one period of play. In the South Division, looks like it's headed to overtime. Florida and South Carolina in Game 6. Florida leads the series 3-2, and if Florida gets the victory in overtime, then they will advance to the second round of the series. Lambden scored for Florida 13:04 into the second period, and Hughes tallied South Carolina's goal 4:52 into the third. So that looks like an interesting one. It's in overtime right now, tied at 1, Florida and South Carolina, as the Everblades lead the series 3-2. I think it's going to be an interesting second round, regardless of who faces Allen, if Allen does indeed win. But you're looking at, an Allen Americans team that picked up a pretty good goaltender, who had actually spent some time in the NHL with the Ottawa Senators. They've obviously got talented forwards. They picked up a key defenseman in Eric Williams late in the regular season. It feels like Allen is that type of team that if anybody gives Idaho a run for their money, Allen has the offensive firepower. They might just do it.
Yeah, I think the Allen American teams are a pretty solid team. I think that they have a chance to go very far in the playoffs, but I think you're right. It comes down to goaltending. We've seen that in this series. The reason why the Grizzlies have hung in there with the Steelheads in this series is because of the stellar play of Trent Miner. So if the Americans are able to get stellar goaltending throughout the course of the playoffs, then they have a chance to go far just because of the depth players that they have and the scoring that they have from their top 4 players. So it'll be certainly interesting to see who ends up playing the Americans, whether it's the Grizzlies or the Steelheads. But if you're the Grizzlies, I think you look at what the Florida Panthers were able to do last night against the Boston Bruins, knocking them out in 7 games. Boston, of course, is really the comparable to the Steelheads, as both teams broke a lot of regular season records for wins, for pretty much everything you can think of. So for the Grizzlies, I think you watch that and say, hey, you know what? That could be us.
Yeah.
Let's go out there and get that thing done. So I think for the Grizzlies, there's still a lot of time left in this game for them to be played. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder coming out in the second. I think they need to just play aggressive like they did to start the first period.
We'll take a break. I'll yell at my laptop for 2 minutes, and then we'll have second period action as Idaho leads Utah 1-0. Zane Franklin scored 9:04 in. We're back in 2 minutes on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Thanks for sticking with us here as we're doing our remote broadcast. We're in the lobby at Maverik Center as Idaho leads 1-0 after one period of play. It's an elimination game for the Grizzlies. It is a must-win situation. Now, every now and then in the regular season, we may use the phrase must-win situation. Well, this one really is a must-win situation as a Utah loss ends their season. Idaho would move into the Mountain Division Finals, but really you think about coming into this series, obviously Idaho came in with a record of 58, 11, 1-2 or something like that. The most wins by any team in the regular season, but as we saw in the NHL, doesn't necessarily mean anything as Florida ended up winning the series 4-3 in kind of a monumental upset. And really you think about where the Grizzlies were halfway through the season, how the roster improved as the season went on. Ryan Kanaswich picking up some key players late. I think that kind of closed the gap. I think people may look at this matchup and look at Idaho's and the amount of points they had and where they are in the standings and where Utah is in the standings and would probably just say, hey, it's a mismatch. But because of the Grizzlies' additions late in the season, I think that closed the gap. And so I think a lot of fans who don't necessarily follow both teams on a regular basis may look at this as being a huge upset, possibly if Utah wins it. I think the Grizzlies locker room, I think everybody in the Grizzlies office knows that the Grizzlies can hang with Idaho. After all, 4 of the 5 games are decided by 1 goal, and the one game that was decided by more than 1 goal turned out to be a Grizzlies 3-0 victory in Game 1. So Utah's hanging in there. They just need to find a way to get something past Adam Scheel here in the second period.
Well, I agree, Tyson. I mean, you think about the Grizzlies and the Steelheads playing 18 times in the regular season. 15 of those meetings came in January or before.
Yep.
And that was back when the Grizzlies were kind of dealing with some roster issues, whether it was injuries or call-ups. They just weren't as good as a team as they are now. And so you talk about Kanaswich and Pike really adding players as the season went on. You got help from the Colorado Eagles. I mean, Luke Martin came back down to the Grizzlies. And so at this point in time, this is the best the Grizzlies roster has looked at any point in this season. And so I think for the Grizzlies going up against the Steelheads, I mean, to us, it's not a surprise because we know how good of a Grizzlies team this is at this point in time. But for others around the league, they might look at this and say, oh my goodness, the Grizzlies are in Game 6 with the Idaho Steelheads. I mean, we thought they were going to get swept. But for us and the Grizzlies locker room and really the coaching staff, they know how good of a team that they have here. And so this really isn't a surprise to them. And I think they know that they can go toe-to-toe with the Idaho Steelheads. And a lot of their points were probably just points that they picked up from the Grizzlies earlier on when the Grizzlies weren't as good as a team as the Steelheads. So you think you're right. The gap is it's way closer now than it was back in January and earlier on. So the Grizzlies right now, there's a really good chance that they can force a Game 7, but they just got to play the right way. They got to play their style of game. They can't let Idaho dictate the terms. And as a result of that, they have to be the more aggressive team here in the second period.
One NHL Game 7 going on tonight. Just starting out the third period, Devils lead the Rangers 2-0. So the Devils could end up winning that series. They've got a 2-0 lead early in the third period. Kind of interesting considering the Rangers picked up Tarasenko and Patrick Kane midway through the season, and they picked up some key players. But it looks like the Devils have a 2-0 lead going into the third period. Back to the Grizzlies game, I think it's going to be interesting to see because, when the Grizzlies have had success offensively it's against Idaho, it's been kind of a weird combination of you got to be aggressive, but you also have to have a little bit of patience and let plays develop in order to find a way to get into the attack zone with some sort of momentum. It seems like both teams' defensive units are doing an outstanding job at neutral ice. It doesn't seem like either team's really been able to consistently get into the attack zone with any sort of momentum to where they can do something with the puck.
Yeah, Tyson, that's something that I noticed in the final regular season meeting between the Grizzlies and the Steelheads here at Maverik Center was it just seemed like whoever was dominating the neutral zone was winning the game at that point in time. And it seems like whoever dominated the neutral zone throughout the course of that game was the one that won that game. And of course, that was Idaho. So for the Grizzlies, it's just you got to find a way to take over the neutral zone. If you're able to take over the neutral zone and really dictate the play through center ice, you're going to have an easier time entering the offensive zone and shutting down the Steelheads at your own blue line. So if the Grizzlies can find a way to do that here in the second period, I think they're off to a good start.
I've been really excited all year to watch Tyson Pfizer in his first full season as a pro. He scored 2 power play goals in this series, and it seemed like he was a guy that Utah looked for in their first power play opportunity. He doesn't have a shot yet here for Utah, but it feels like if the Grizzlies are going to get going here offensively, Tyson Pfizer is going to be somebody to watch out for.
I agree, Tyson. And really, with Tyson Pfizer, it's just a goal is one shot away. It just seems like, I mean, he's just got such a wicked shot. It's just, if he's got the puck on his stick and he's able to take that shot, there's a really good chance that it's going to find its way in the back of the net. And so you look at that line with Cutler, Sekos, and Pfizer. I mean, 3 really great playmakers. You get the puck on either one of those guys' stick, they have a chance to put it in the back of the net and make it a 1-1 game.
For the Grizzlies, you want to enter the third period still in this game, as Utah has outscored Idaho 5-3 in the third period. It's the 26th meeting between these clubs, 2 in the preseason, 18 in the regular year, and this is game 6 of the playoff series. Neither team's going to surprise the other, and so it just seems like, as we mentioned in game 5, redirections, lucky bounces, lucky tips can end up, making once again, the determining factor in this game.
I agree, Tyson. When you get a chess match like this, where you're just so familiar with your opponent, it really is just those wacky plays that aren't predictable. There's so many things that you can predict, but it's that one thing that's unpredictable that's going to go either in your favor or against you. And so sometimes it's just flinging pucks on net and seeing what happens. We saw the Steelheads do that in overtime in the 3 games here at Maverik Center, and it ended up going in their favor. I think for the Grizzlies, just start taking shots on net. Really, even it looks like a bad shot. I think in a game like this, any shot is a good shot. It just depends, because you never know if you're going to get that bounce.
Looks like the 5 that are going to start the second period for the Grizzlies: Cameron Wright, Kyle Betts, and Dakota Raby, with Betts taking the face off. The defensive unit is going to be Luke Martin and James Shearer. Idaho's going to have the forward combination of Wade Murphy, A.J. White, and Jordan Kawaguchi. And in the back end, Casey Johnson and Dawson Bardo. The referee, one of the 2 referees, drops the puck at center ice, and Utah wins it. They skate from right to left in the second period. Kyle Betts' lefty shot goes wide. That was taken from the high slot. Betts throws it to the corner. Utah quickly in the attack zone as Casey Johnson gets hit by Raby. Idaho with the puck behind their own net as Johnson to the near side. Will tap it off the near glass. It's cut out by Shearer in the left point, but he couldn't handle it as Johnson gets it back and he'll throw it to center. Idaho throws it down the middle. Wade Murphy skates down the middle. Righty shot. Saved by Minor. And Trent holds on for the first whistle of the second period, 25 seconds in. But oh boy, Wade Murphy pretty much had a breakaway from the offensive blue line in, and he just skated down the middle, but Minor was able to make the stop.
Well, good chances at both ends. Started with going with the Grizzlies' way. They just missed wide, and then the Steelheads take it and go the other way. And Wade Murphy's a guy that if he's got a chance, there's a good chance he's going to score, but Trent Minor does an absolute fantastic job of just reading that play and shutting it down.
Draw's going to be in the near circle of the Grizzlies zone. Weiss will take it as Utah wins the faceoff. As the Grizzlies lift it out of play, did it hit off the glass or is it delay of game? It looked like it deflected off the glass. No delay of game as Brandon Cutler's out there with Tyson Pfizer and Zach Sekos. 30 seconds into the second period, they show Willie Nerum. He's got 2 overtime game winners in the series. He scored 26 seconds into game 3's overtime winner. And game 5, a little bit more controversial as Grizzlies fans felt it was played with a high stick, as we mentioned in the pregame show. It doesn't appear that that's a reviewable play. As a draw to the near side. Now, the league may step in and intervene in those sort of situations, but they didn't in this case. Tomowski will take the draw near side, as it looks like the only thing that is reviewable in this league is whether the puck crossed the goal line and things related to that. Yeah, Idaho wins the draw. Nerum will throw it towards the middle. It bounces off the chest of Tyson Pfizer. He goes down as Idaho trying to keep it in. Nerum couldn't. He just dumps it into the far corner. Grizzlies gather it. They skate from right to left here in the second period. As they get hit, does Mayhew, and he'll slide it ahead. Grizzlies towards center ice, bounced off a Pfizer stick. Idaho keeps it in. Domowski loses the puck as he'll throw it to the far corner of Utah's zone. As Grizzlies one-on-one battle, Cutler moves it ahead. It's taken away by Idaho. Steelheads in the right point. We'll tap it to the corner as Idaho skates towards the right point. They'll deliver it across. Bardo with a righty blast. It goes wide as Pfizer gets the puck. He'll carry it out to center ice, right wing. He'll dump it in. Chasing after it's Casey Johnson. He gets it. He skates around Idaho's net. He'll chip it towards Ritchie. It glanced off his skate. Ritchie towards the left side, over to Pfizer, back to Ritchie. He skates towards the corner, now gets it to Ritchie in the left circle. He centers it to Martin. It glanced off his stick on the backhand. Martin skates towards the far corner. He gets blasted by Johnson. As Grizzlies towards the near side, skate towards the point. As they get it over towards McDonald, they'll take a righty shot, and it's blocked out in front. Idaho gets it. They carry it out of the zone. Dawson Bardo. Now he switches back towards his own end. Button hooks. He'll throw it to center ice. Keaton Jamison delivers a big hit. Idaho enters the attack zone from the far side. Idaho delivers a hit. I believe that's on Ritchie. As Casey Johnson skates around his net, play starting to get physical 2 minutes into the second period. Keller, right wing, he crosses center ice and dumps it in as Ducharme collides with McDonald. McDonald holds up Ducharme. Good defensive play by the Grizzlies captain. Ahead to Jamison. He couldn't handle it. Hedrick skates down the middle. Now he takes a righty shot and it goes wide. Now Becker near goal line. Shot saved by Minor. Now Becker towards the left side. Fires a righty shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound shot. Saved by Minor again. Puck still in play. Far side. Grizzlies will lift it out to center. It's gathered by Patrick Cudla at the Idaho blue line. He'll move it ahead to Becker wearing number 27. He'll slide a right wing pass. It goes to Ducharme. He skates towards the corner. He collides with Bryson Martin. As Becker bounces off the boards, he played for both Michigan and Arizona State in his college career. Becker around the net, gets cut off by McDonald, chips out in front. By shot, saved by Minor, as it goes wide towards the far post. As Idaho throws it out to the high slot. Grizzlies gather it. Brandon Cutler skates towards the left circle. Lefty shot, saved by Shield. And he holds on his keister as Idaho was looking for a pass to the high slot, and it went wide, and Brandon Cutler chased after it, and he skated towards the left circle, and he had an outstanding look, probably the best look the Grizzlies have had so far, but Shield was able to make the save.
Oh, that was a laser of a shot from Brandon Cutler, Tyson. And as you mentioned before, at the end of the intermission, any guy in that line, you give him a chance to shoot that puck, it's going to be a heck of a shot. And I think Adam Shield didn't even know where that was once he made the initial save. I think he got some help from Hedrick. And let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, he doesn't have that puck initially. Hedrick kind of takes that puck and kind of scoops it and puts it under his rump. Good chance for the Grizzlies.
It's the first time in Grizzlies broadcast history the word rump's been used. Puck towards the near side. It goes to neutralize. We're having some fun here on this Monday night as Idaho throws to the right side. I might have to use that every game now. As White throws to the right circle, Franklin looks to center it. Kawaguchi couldn't get it as he was being held up by Penner. Puck goes to the far side as Grizzlies over in the corner. Battle, Shearer, and a few Steelheads in the area. Dylan Fitz. 3.5 minutes into the second period. Idaho leads 1-0. As puck goes towards Haskinen, but it bounces over his stick. It glides towards Adam Shield. He'll throw an outlet pass to Kanadi, who now skates behind Idaho's net and stops. Looks like the ice surface kind of like Maverik Center in Game 5, playing a little bit of tricks. I believe it was warm in Boise today. Kanadi moves it ahead. I can't say firsthand, though. Grizzlies towards their bench area. Betts couldn't handle it. Idaho skates in. Domowski towards his left. Grizzlies take it away. They throw it towards center. As Domowski looking for it, goes to Betts. He'll skate down the middle. He gets to the line. He'll throw it to his right as Raby around Idaho's net. As he'll throw it towards the corner, make that Aaron Tho. He gets pushed. Tho throws to Raby, who skates to the corner. He gets hit. Raby keeps his feet. He gets pushed again towards the boards. Idaho trying to chip it out of the zone. They bounce off a right. Now Idaho throws to the point. Utah keeps it in. Grizz throw it back to the corner on the near side. Raby throws it to the high slot, but it exits the zone. Grizzlies gather it 4.5 minutes into the second period. And now we get a whistle. I think Utah is offside with 15:37 left in the second. Still lead 1-0.
Tyson, usually I have the ECHL app up on my phone tracking the game, but I switched over to the weather app, and it was a little over 80 degrees in Boise today, which is similar to what we had on Saturday here in the Salt Lake Valley. And we were right that the ice was kind of playing tricks on both teams in that game. So I imagine it's got to be a similar scenario here at Idaho Central Arena.
They do a good job of keeping the building cool, a little bit on the chilly side, but it might be tough in this type of day. Idaho's outshot Utah 14-10 for the contest. Grizz win the face-off as they'll throw it deep into the Steelhead zone. Idaho chases after it. They win the foot race. Now Grizzlies behind the net. Throw it towards Cutler. Lefty shot, kick saved by Shield. Now left side, lefty shot goes wide as the puck rolls towards the right point. Grizzlies keep it in the attack zone. As over to the right side, Grizzlies swing and miss. And Idaho comes out with it. 2-on-2, they cross center. Steelhead skate towards the right side. They don't have momentum, so they just dump it in at the end of a shift. As Pfizer and Luke Martin battle along the end boards with a couple Steelheads. Puck flips towards the far side. Kawaguchi gets it. He overskates the puck. Now he takes it. He'll throw it to the left circle. Keller righty shot saved by Minor. As puck goes to the left circle, once again, puck playing tricks on both teams tonight. Hedrick throws it to the left side to Kudla. Now it's the left circle. They look to center to White. He couldn't handle it. Grizzlies kick it back towards the near side. Now right wing, righty shot goes wide, taken by Wade Murphy. Now left circle, lefty shot goes wide. Now behind the net, Kawaguchi battles with Martin. He flips it out in front. Steelheads couldn't handle it. Kicked off a skate and goes towards the near side. Kudla at the right point, throws it around the net. Kawaguchi gets pushed by Martin, but Kawaguchi gets the puck. He'll throw it up top to Hedrick. One-timer, and he didn't get much on as it bounced off the end boards. Idaho around the net. Either they were thinking about the Michigan, but instead threw it towards Hedrick. Now, Kawaguchi, left side shot, saved by Minor. Idaho, another shot, and the net gets dislodged out in front. And good thing the Grizzlies got a whistle there as Idaho is really attacking, and they had the puck in the offensive zone for quite some time there before the whistle and the net getting dislodged.
Yeah, Tyson, the Grizzlies catch a break there. That was probably the best thing that could have happened to the Grizzlies other than the puck exiting the zone. It's just the net coming off. You get that whistle. As we see, he was trying for that Michigan. He wanted
Wade
to do
Murphy
it.
was thinking about the Michigan.
Yeah, but he was like, "Oh no, this is a playoff game. I gotta make the smarter play, not the Sports Center top 10 play. I gotta make the smart play." And he sends the puck to the blue line. But the Grizzlies needed that whistle. They were under siege in their own zone. And I think the key right now is just win this face-off here, get possession, and find a way to go back on offense because you can't let that happen again.
Draws give me in the Grizzlies zone. They put the net back in place. Draws give me the near circle. Keaton Jamison will take it against Jack Becker. As the draw, Becker gets kicked out of the face-off circle. Ryan Domowski will take the draw. Domowski scored a goal halfway through the second period in Game 5 to give Idaho a 2-1 lead. And then Taryn Pfizer scored later in the second period to tie it up at 2. Domowski, their leading scorer, with 67 points this season. Idaho wins the draw. Franklin in the far circle, dances around. He'll fire one towards the net. It gets blocked. Good block by the Grizzlies, who have done a good job defensively here so far. Grizzlies cross center ice. The Rooster gets pushed before he gets to the Idaho blue line. As Becker gets the puck, he skates down the middle with speed. He'll throw it to his left. Idaho centers it. Shot. Saved by Minor. As they found Hedrick out in front, but Minor makes a key save. As Martell deep in his own zone will throw it across. Idaho leads 1-0. 13:43 left in the second period. Grizzlies towards center ice. Ritchie gets cut off by Canati. Franklin in the area as the puck goes back into the Grizzlies zone as it glides along the far boards. Bryson Martin gets it behind Utah's net. He's not related to Luke Martin. They just play on the same hockey team. Ritchie throws out to center ice. It's taken back by Heiskanen, far side of the Steelhead zone. He'll skate towards his right now. He'll chip it ahead. Rink-wide pass gets cut off by the Grizzlies. Now Idaho gets the puck back. Steelheads towards the far side, get it poked away. Now another Steelhead gets it, and they bounce it off a Grizzly. Kyle Betts enters his zone with momentum. He looked to center to Raby, pass behind him. Now right side, right with a shot, and it's blocked as the puck goes towards the far side. Canadi in the area, he'll bounce it off a Raby. Betts tried to get it. He couldn't handle it. Idaho clears it. As chasing after, it's Kyle Mayhew. No icing. He gets it, and he'll throw it back towards the far side. Looks like the puck's been hard to handle on both sides here tonight, kind of like it was on Saturday. Be interesting to see if it's warm in Boise or not. As Tho moves ahead, it's picked off as Idaho. Left wing carries it into the zone. They skeet towards the left circle. White toe drag shot, and it's blocked by Tho as Betts gets the puck far side. As he'll throw it out to center. As now he gets past A.J. White. He enters the zone, but the whistle blows as Utah's called for offside with 12:33 left in the second period. Time out on the ice will take one as well. It's the Steelheads 1 and the Grizzlies 0. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account.
Idaho leads 1-0. It is warm in the building there. Well, we imagine it's warm in the building in Boise. It is warm here at Maverik Center. And because of that, it looks like both teams are having a tough time handling the puck.
Yeah, and as a result of what we saw, based on the conditions that we saw on Saturday, both teams kind of tried to play this really just lockdown game where you don't really want to make many mistakes. See if we see that here in this game.
Kyle Betts got a penalty. He couldn't believe it. Idaho's on the power play. We never did see the official signal to know what it is. Idaho on the man advantage. As they throw it to the left side, Kawaguchi, lefty shot goes wide. Idaho gets it off the boards. Kawaguchi gets it back left point. Over to Bardo on the high slot. He'll fire a righty shot and it goes wide. I think a Grizzly got a piece of it. Puck towards the near boards. Good job by Tyler Penner. Penning a Steelhead to the boards. Kawaguchi left side slides up top for Bardo. Now back to Kawaguchi. He'll throw it to the far goal line. Now back to Kawaguchi. He tried to slide it out in front. Pass goes wide. Idaho to the right point. Throws it back to the corner. Grizzlies do a good job along the boards. 2-on-1. Grizzlies hack away. Puck goes towards Wade Murphy, right side. He skates towards the corner. He gets around Shearer. Now to Ducharme, who feeds over to the left side for Bardo. Now to Kawaguchi, left side. Skates towards it. Now left side. One-timer goes wide as Kawaguchi delivered a pass. Wade Murphy with the one-timer. As Grizzlies get it, they skate around Miner's net. Now they clear it out. Shill cuts it off as Idaho clears it back towards the offensive zone. Pass doesn't connect. And on the power play, Idaho gets called for icing. 51 seconds left in Idaho's power play. They still lead Utah 1-0. Guy, it looks like a defensive person special out there with the goaltending and defense dominating the way.
Yeah, it does, Tyson, especially here for the Grizzlies. On the penalty kill, looks like Kyle Betts got a 2-minute slashing minor, 7:27 into the second period. So that's why the Grizzlies are in the PK right now. But as they have been all series long, they're doing a great job.
Maybe that's why Betts looked so perplexed before the whistle, before we went to break. Idaho wins the draw. They skate down the middle. They skate from left to right here in the second period as Niram throws to his left. Idaho skates towards the circle. Lefty shot, saved by Miner. Rebound goes to Utah as Idaho couldn't connect on it. Sekos lifts it high into the air. Kudla chases after it, as does Taryn Pfizer. Kudla gets there before Pfizer. Pfizer hacking away. Puck goes from one corner to the other as Hedrick gets it. He'll throw it back to Kudla in the slot. Kudla down the middle now. Right wing pass to Niram. He steps over the offensive blue line, and he'll throw it around the boards. Idaho throws to the left point. Kudla over to Hedrick. Back towards the near goal line. Now back to Hedrick in the right point. As he'll feed it back to the right side. Domowski. Now to Kudla. Back to Domowski. Right circle. Over to Kudla. High slot back to Domowski. One-timer. And it goes wide. Puck goes to the left point. Hedrick will skate towards his right now to Kudla. One-timer, saved by Miner. Rebound goes to the left side. Righty shot, saved by Miner again. Now the next rebound goes to McDonald. He clears it out to center. Fresh out of the box is Kyle Betts. It's another Utah disaster cleanup, successful penalty kill. Idaho back in their own zone with the puck as they'll throw it to center ice, far side. Idaho gets it. They chip it across off the near boards to Domowski. He gets hit. Domowski goes down. Cameron Wright in the area. Wright acts like he was hit with a high stick, and it looks like it's going to be a penalty. Referee checks Cameron Wright's face for blood, and there is no blood. 2-minute penalty. Ryan Domowski goes to the box for high sticking, and the Grizzlies go back on the power play with 10:10 left in the second. Well, good penalty kill by the Grizzlies there. Now the power play goes to work as Utah looking to tie up the game.
Yeah, and we talked about here in the special in the pregame, whoever wins the special teams is probably going to win this game. Well, Idaho is now 0 for 2 on the man advantage. This is going to be the Grizzlies' second chance. If they can go 1 for 2, tie this thing up, that could go a long way in the Grizzlies winning this game.
Ryan Domowski goes to the box, the Connecticut native. 2-minute penalty for high sticking. 10:10 left in the second period. Watch out for Taryn Pfizer if he's on the ice. He leads the club with 12 power play goals. But it looks like it's the other power play unit in there with Betts taking the face off. He's got Ritchie to his left. And I can't tell if it is the right. I think that's Cameron Wright. Luke Martin's in there as well. As Utah wins the draw. Martin over to Martell. Right side. Martell take the toe drag. Righty shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes out to the left side. Cameron Wright gets it. Over to Luke Martin. Back to right in the left point. He'll throw it to the left circle for Ritchie. Now centers the Betts lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Ritchie. He throws it up top for Martin. He's in the left point. Over to Ritchie. Back to Martin. So feed a right wing pass to the Rooster. Martell over towards right. One-timer. Saved by Shield. That shot was taken from the left side. Wright gets the puck. As he'll throw it over to Martin, left point. He'll slide it across to Martell. Right side. He'll skate towards the circle. Martell fakes a shot. He'll feed it to the far goal line. Still has picking off, and they clear it out. Trent Miner behind his net gathers it as it glided along the far wing boards. 1:13 and counting left in the power play. Idaho still leads 1-0. Grizzlies cross center ice. They skeet down the middle. Martell veers off to the left after stepping over the offensive line. He'll drop it off to the left point. Pass goes wide to Brandon Cutler, who gets it as Utah filters some players in and out. Right wing pass towards Pfizer. Now back to Cutler to the right corner. He tries to locate the puck. Idaho gets it. They clear it out. Minor behind his net cuts it off as he gets it to Kyle Mayhew. He's got outstanding speed. Mayhew skates to neutral ice like a blur. Now he crosses center ice. He'll drop it off. Grizzlies get it. Cutler, left side, he crosses center. He'll chip it to Sekos in the left point. Grizz in the attack zone. They'll throw it to Mayhew in the left point. Across to Pfizer. He'll feed it to the far goal line for Cutler. Now back up top as Pfizer skates. Now they throw it to Mayhew in the high slot. Left wing pass to Cutler. He'll skate towards the circle. Now to the corner. Cutler throws it around the net. Pfizer on the right side gets it. He's at the point. 17 seconds left in the power play. Mayhew throws to the right side. They try to start to Sekos. It's picked off by A.J. White. Now the Steelheads to the far side, lift it high into the air as it bounces deep in the Grizzlies zone. Mayhew gets it. He'll toss it around towards the far side as there's 3 seconds left in the power play. And coming out of the box is Ryan Domowski. Neither team scored on the power play here so far as Idaho still leads 1-0. Sekos gains the line, stops along the near wing boards. He blows a tire. Uncharacteristic of him. Might be a warm building at at Idaho Central Arena. As Idaho throws it towards Pelton Bice. He's down the middle. He'll slide it towards his right. Kudla dumps it in as Minor plays it off the boards as it glided along the near side. As McDonald will chip it ahead. Grizzlies get it to Dylan Fitz at center ice. He'll skate towards his left. He gains the line. He skates towards the left circle. He gets around Kudla as Fitz avoids a check, but he loses his balance. As Raby slides it across. It hits off the left point. Martin keeps it in. He'll fire it off the end boards as Fitz throws it behind his back. Raby on the left side looks to center to bounce off a Grizzly skate and rolls back towards the near boards. Miller rolls it around the net. Becker cuts it off. He gets pushed. Miller gets hit by Fitz. Now Martin gets it in the left point. He'll slide it across to McDonald. Right side, righty shot goes wide. Puck glides along the near boards. Idaho gets it. They pitch it out to center ice. Grizzlies reset as Fitz will bounce it off of Franklin. Now Fitz gets it back. Fitz throws it to his right. Raby gets it off the far boards. He gathers it, skates into the zone. He'll veer off to the left. He'll take a lefty shot. Kick saved by Schill, and it flies out of play with 6:57 left in the second period. Timeout on the ice. We're back in 30 seconds as Idaho still leads 1-0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account.
Idaho still leads 1-0. Both teams' penalty kill units have looked good. Guy, what have you noticed here in the second period?
Well, Tyson, again, the Grizzlies doing all the right things on the power play, just unable to score. But I like what the Grizzlies were able to do after that power play expired, really just have that zone time in the Idaho zone, really just trying to make something work. I think that right there was probably the most offensive zone time the Grizzlies have had at any point in this game. So if they're able to take that and run with it through the rest of the second period and the third, really just start to gain possession in Idaho zone and start cycling the puck around, I like their chances to score.
Idaho outshot Utah 10-8 in the first period. Steelheads have a 9-7 edge in the second as Idaho's outshot Utah 19-15. Both teams are 0 for 2 on the power play. Idaho wins the draw. They're in their own zone. It's game 6 in the Mountain Division semis. As Idaho leads the series 3-2. Grizzlies center it, shot to score! As Utah won the face-off, they were in the left wing. They centered to Kyle Betts, and he fired away, and it gets redirected. No, it didn't get redirected. Kyle Betts high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench as he gets his third goal of the series. As Utah won the face-off, Betts cut it off in the near corner, and he centered it to Kyle Betts. Betts gathered it, swung and missed the first time, and then the second time bounced it off at Cody Heiskanen and found the back of the net. Heiskanen wanted to take his stick and slam it along the boards as it's an own goal from the body of Cody Heiskanen into the back of the net. It's going to get credited to Kyle Betts with Cameron Wright getting an assist. As Utah's tied it up here late in the second period, we're tied at 1. Idaho wins the faceoff as Colton Keller dumps it in. Less than 6:40 left in the second period. As the puck goes to the far side, Cameron Wright moves it ahead. Betts gets the center ice. Left wing chip goes to Nolan Ritchie. He'll skate towards the left circle. He tried to center it out in front. Nobody was home. As the puck goes to the right side, Grizzlies slide it across to Martin. He handles it to the left side, lifts it high into the air, and it goes out of play. It stays in play as it goes towards Heiskanen. So spin it towards the near wing. Idaho bouncing off of Shearer as both teams battle 2-on-2. Puck goes to Betts on the left side. He'll skate towards the corner. Betts gets pushed by Kanadi. Idaho gets the puck as Becker will tap it off the near wing boards. Grizzlies throw it back in as Heiskanen chases after it, and Cameron Wright will avert and go back to the defensive zone as Heiskanen throws it towards center ice. Idaho left wing will chip it in. Grizzlies skating from right to left here in the second period as Kyle Mayhew will throw it towards the far side. Now it goes back towards Brandon Cutler. He gets the neutral ice. He gets around one skater. He gets the center ice, chips it ahead, but Idaho picks it off. They throw it to neutral ice as we get a whistle. 5:37 left in the second. Kyle Betts ties it up as he scores on a pass from Cameron Wright. Betts' shot bounced off of Cody Heiskanen and ended up in the back of the net. Grizzlies get a good bounce. They've had that happen over a few times over Idaho Central Arena where they've had that lucky bounce. As everybody's skating to the bench, looks like we got a timeout on the ice. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We're tied at 1 late in the second period, 5:37 left. Kyle Betts is the opt-in first goal of the game scorer as he tallied Utah's first mark, 13-12 into the second with Cameron Wright getting the assist. Idaho wins the draw. They're in their own zone, skating from left to right as they move it out to center ice. Zone. He'll throw it across, and Utah moves ahead to Sekos, who couldn't handle it. Sekos goes down. He gets back to his feet as Idaho throws it off the near wing boards. It goes back to Kyle Mayhew. He'll slide to the far side. Grizzlies get it back to Mayhew. He skates down the middle to neutral ice. He gets around Murphy. Now Mayhew gains the line. He'll skate towards the left circle. Mayhew with a lefty shot, and it goes wide. Idaho gets it as they skate from left to right. Murphy gets to center ice. Now he gains the line. He'll veer off to the left. Murphy in the left circle. Look to center it out in front. It goes wide. Grizzlies get it off the near wing boards. Mayhew crosses center. He enters as he'll skate towards the left circle. Now across, but the pass is behind Pfizer. Idaho backhanded out to center ice. Steelheads gain the line with the puck as Bice mishandles it. Now he gets it back. He'll chip it towards the corner. Sekos cuts it off as he gets the puck along the far wing boards. As Sekos gets neutral ice, he crosses center. He'll chip it to his left for Raby as he'll skate towards the corner. Now he stops and centers it, but it's picked off by A.J. White about halfway from the goal line to the blue line as the Steelheads will chase after it. Cutler with a left wing pass as Idaho gains the line. They skate towards the corner. Niram drops it off. Lefty shot goes wide. Puck glides along the far wing boards to center ice. Fitz moves it ahead. Idaho will tap it off the boards. Goes to Hedrick, wearing number 7. Hedrick was the league's defenseman of the year as he'll station himself behind Adam Schill with about 4 minutes left in the second. Idaho throws it to the far side. Nolan Ritchie moves it ahead. Grizzlies chip it across as it ricochets off the boards. Panner gets it, looks to center it, and bounced off a Grizzly. Now it goes back towards the point. Utah loses it as Murphy throws to the left side. Idaho gets the center ice. They'll chip it in. Big hit delivered by Bryson Martin. Utah skates around their net as we're tied at 1. Over to the far side, Grizzlies moving out to center. Utah chips it towards the near side and dumping it in as Ritchie as it rolls towards Shield, who covers up in the crease, and the Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw with 3:33 left in the second period. The two main forwards for the Grizzlies here this series have been Cameron Wright and Kyle Betts, and so it's really no surprise they combine for Utah's first goal.
Yeah, Wright now leads the club with 7 points in this series. Right behind him, Kyle Betts, 3 goals and 3 assists. So you're right. It's really no wonder that both of them factor in on the Grizzlies' goal in this game. And for Kyle Betts, I don't think he whiffed on that shot. I think he was just faking out the defense. And then he goes and scores. But he's got a wicked shot. Great to have him in the lineup after his seasoning in the AHL.
Draws give me the near circle. Yeah, Betts kind of swung and missed the first time, then he gathered it, and the second look bounced off of Heiskanen and into the back of Idaho's net. Utah wins the draw as they're in the attack zone as Wright throws the Betts back to right. Righty shot goes wide from the left wing as Martin throws it towards the right corner. Luke Martin, that is. Kyle Betts battles. Cameron Wright joins the play. 2-on-2 battle as the puck goes towards the net and taken by Dawson Bardo. He'll throw it to the near side. Franklin moves it ahead. Martin gets the bouncing puck. He'll throw it towards Betts. He drops it off. Grizzlies skate towards the left circle. Betts with a shot. It's blocked by Franklin. Idaho gets it. They skate around their net. Still heads towards center ice. Will chip it in from the left wing. Chasing after it, Zane Franklin. He collides with James Shearer, but the whistle blows. And after the whistle, Betts tried to push Franklin. Then Franklin fell down as Shearer won the foot race, and icing was called on Idaho. The former American tried to push Kyle Betts, who was skating over there, and Franklin was the one that lost his balance. 2:57 left in the second period. Looks like Franklin might be skating towards the penalty box. And we saw that penalty called, I think, in game 4 as icing was called, and then Idaho delivered a hit. Franklin goes to the box, but it looks like Kyle Betts also goes to the penalty box. I imagine matching minor penalties, Franklin for Idaho and Kyle Betts for Utah.
Well, we'll have to look and see, as we do see Franklin in the penalty box. But I think for the Grizzlies, if it is 4-on-4, you do benefit from that open ice. But I really think that Grizzlies did a great job of turning the momentum after they got on that power play on the penalty to Domowski. Really were able to turn things around. And then they, about 5 minutes later, get that goal from Betts. So really just momentum shift for the Grizzlies goes their way. Now it's about keeping that momentum and riding with it here and getting the next one.
So Franklin's in the box for Idaho. And I think Betts is in there for Utah. Yep, Kyle Betts is in the Grizzlies penalty box. But the Grizzlies look like they get a power play for 2 minutes, according to the Knobber skating 4-on-4. Good job, score bug guys. For a second, it said Utah power play, but now it says 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. 2:57 left in the second period. We're tied at 1. Zane Franklin has Idaho's lone goal. He scored 9:04 into the first period, and then Kyle Betts tied it up 13-12 into the second. Utah wins the draw. Aaron Tho to the left point will drop it off. Secco's one-timer, and it's blocked by Casey Johnson. Around the net, Idaho gets it. They'll chip it over to the near corner as Casey Johnson gathers it. He was outstanding in Game 5. He'll throw up behind Idaho's net as the Steelheads patient with their approach here on the 4-on-4 situation. Idaho moves it out towards the far side. Steelheads carry it out to center as they step over the offensive line, skating down the middle. As they'll skate in, shot saved by Minor as they split the double team, but it looked like Ducharme lost the puck before he wanted to, and it glided towards Minor, who was able to cover up with 2:29 left in the second.
Well, I think this 4-on-4 is going to be interesting to watch just because we've seen the neutral zone kind of just turn into this war zone where both teams are trying to fight for that space in the neutral zone. But I really feel 4-on-4, it's going to open things up a little bit where you're not going to be able to control center ice as much as you'd like to. And so for a speedy team like the Grizzlies, you got to take advantage of that and really use the wings to your advantage.
Draws in the near circle, 2:29 left in the second. We're skating 4-on-4 for the next minute 32. As the draw won by the Steelheads, as Ducharme over in the right corner throws up top for Heiskanen. He'll throw it back to Ducharme, right side. He couldn't handle it. Cutler behind Utah's net. He's got plenty of speed. He'll skate towards the far side. Now backing out towards Luke Martin as the Grizzlies want to enter the attack zone with momentum if they can. They throw it towards the far side. Grizzlies get it. 1:10 left in the 4-on-4 as Utah skates down the middle. They get to center ice. Now they veer off to the left. As the Grizz skate towards the corner, it's Cameron Wright. It'll drift it around the wall, cut off by Brandon Cutler, who feeds it to Shearer in the high slot. Now to Luke Martin in the left, he couldn't handle it. As Cody Heiskanen gathers it for Idaho, he'll throw it around his net as Nick Canati, with plenty of speed, stops on the far side. Now he starts the attack as he just carries it out to neutral ice. Canati carries it to center. Now he veers off to the left. He steps over the offensive line and fires it around Utah's net. Canati skates over behind the net. He battles with Raby as puck goes towards the left side off the screen. Idaho in the attack zone as Kudla will feed it towards the right side. Canati, lefty shot, and it goes wide. He'll skate off the ice at the end of his shift. Less than 30 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Puck goes to the far side as Luke Martin will throw it towards A Grizzly, less than 20 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Now Utah throws it back towards the far side. Grizz cross center. Dylan Fitz enters the zone. He skeets towards his left. Fitz will wrap it around the boards. It goes to the right side. As Raby gets it, he skeets towards the right circle. Idaho takes it away. So puck glides towards the left point. Though gathers it. He gets dragged down as the puck goes to center ice. McDonald gets it. He skates back into his own end. He'll move it ahead to center ice. Pass goes wide as Idaho gathers it. We're skating 5-on-5 again. Idaho towards the corner. Kudla battles with Tho. Tho trying to hack it out of the Utah zone. Franklin over at the point gets pushed towards new tries. Fitz takes it away from him. Franklin takes it back. He'll throw it to his right. Kudla in the area. He skates to the right point. Backhand shot bounces off of Ritchie. Ritchie will flip it into the Idaho bench. And that shouldn't be delay of game because if there was glass there, then it would have hit off glass. So no delay of game. 26.5 seconds left in the second. We're tied at 1. Kind of interesting to see both teams very patient with their offensive approach there in the 4-on-4.
I agree, Tyson. I think part of the reason we're seeing the patience not only in the 4-on-4, but throughout the course of this game is probably due to the ice conditions. That's the way it was in Game 5 here at Maverik Center when the ice was like that. So I have to think that probably plays a factor here. But, I mean, really, the patience doesn't really surprise me because it also seems like that's a part of both teams' game plan is just being patient and pouncing when you get a chance.
Draws over in the near circle of the Grizzlies zone. Jade Miller will take it against Keaton Jamison. Jamison's been a key contributor for the Grizzlies in this series. He's got a +4 rating through the first 5 games. Jade Miller's been a glue guy for Idaho all year. Been very dependable. 26 seconds left in the second period. Action in the Grizzlies zone. Idaho's got a slide edge in the shot count. Grizzlies win the draw. They skate from right to left. As Mayhew with plenty of speed. He played at the University of Denver for the last 5 years, so move it to his right. Grizzlies fired towards Schill from new tries. Schill will throw it back to the far corner. Now it goes back to Idaho as Miller moves out to center ice in the far wing. Idaho will carry it into the zone left side. As Niram stops in the corner, he looked to center it. Puck bounces towards Minor, but it goes around Utah's net. Grizzlies skate towards the corner. Big-time hit delivered by Colton Keller. And that'll do it for 40 minutes over at Idaho Central Arena. As we're tied at 1. Zane Franklin scored 9:04 into the first period, but it's Kyle Betts who fanned on the shot initially. Then he got it back and then took a shot that bounced off of Cody Heiskanen and ended up in the back of the net. Betts with the goal, and Cameron Wright picked up the assist as that goal was scored. It was scored 13-12 into the second period. Both teams are 0 for 2 on the power play. Betts and Cameron Wright. It's no surprise that both guys contribute to the stat sheet here in the first 2 periods, as those two are the top scorers for the Grizzlies in this series. When we come back in 2 minutes, Guy Chiarenza will quarterback second intermission coverage as we're through 2 periods and we're tied at 1 in Game 6 of the Mountain Division semifinals, and it's a must-win situation for the Grizzlies as Idaho leads the best-of-7 series 3-2. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. We're tied 1 apiece after 40 minutes of play over at Idaho Central Arena. I'm Guy Chiarenza alongside Tyson Whiting. We're chilling doing remote broadcast here in the Maverik Center lobby. Keeping us company are the 2 Turner Cups. Of course, the Grizzlies won those when they were not a part of the ECHL, but they're looking to add an ECHL trophy in the Kelly Cup to that table over there. Maybe that's foreshadowing why we've been here for all the road games this season. Maybe it's just foreshadowing.
Is that what that
old
is?
Kelly back there. Well, we'll call it that. But after 40 minutes of play, we're tied at 1. Idaho scored in the first period. The Grizzlies scored in the second. Opening the scoring 9:04 into the first was Zane Franklin getting his first point of the series from Ty Pelton-Bice and Casey Johnson. Just one of those plays where Pelton-Bice was below the goal line, found Franklin skating into the slot. The pass connected and Franklin beat Minor 5-hole, and that gave the Steelheads a 1-0 lead. Both teams were 0 for 1 on the power play after the first period. Start the second period. The Grizzlies, Kyle Betts, 13-12 into the second. Makes it a 1-1 game. Betts gets his third of the season from Cameron Wright. I think Wright won the draw, got it to Betts in the slot. He misses and fans on the initial attempt, and then he puts it home on the second try. So second time's the charm for Kyle Betts. He now has 3 goals and 3 assists in this series. Cameron Wright has 7 points in this series. So both guys are the Grizzlies' leading scorers, 1 and 2 respectively in this series, and they got the job done, to no surprise to either of us. Shot count is 21-17 in favor of the Steelheads after 40 minutes of play. Idaho outshot the Grizzlies 10-8 after the first period, and they're outshooting them 11-9 in the second. Both teams are 0 for 2 on the power play, but I will mention that the Grizzlies, after the penalty to Ryan Domowski, where they were unable to capitalize on their second power play of the evening, they were able to take that momentum from the power play, and then not long after that, 13-12 into the second, cash in on the Betts goal. And really, that was the best offensive pressure the Grizzlies had in the game to that point, and they were able to get a goal off of that. Trent Miner has been nothing short of fantastic, and it really shouldn't be a surprise to any of us, as Trent Miner, the 7th-round draft pick of the Colorado Avalanche, acting like a pro in this game, stopping 20 of 21 thus far. It's Adam Scheel in the other net for the Steelheads. He stopped 16 of 17. But Tyson, after the first period, the Grizzlies get up with that first goal. They battle back here in the second, probably their best period of the game thus far. As I mentioned, taking that momentum from the power play, which they didn't score, but had a lot of good things cooking up. They're able to finally put it home just a few minutes later.
It's really no surprise that it's Kyle Betts and Cameron Wright that end up combining to get it. You know, Wright had the puck in the far corner, just centered it to Betts, and it was interesting. Betts swung and missed the first time, but the puck didn't go all that far away from him. He just kind of swung and missed, but the puck stayed there, and then that second look bounced off of Haskin and into the back of the net, and really it was game 4 where both guys really emerged. You know, Wright had 1 goal and 3 assists, and Kyle Betts had 1 goal and 2 assists. And you talk about the 2 constants in this series. It's really no surprise for Cameron Wright. He's been there all year. He led the Grizzlies with 281 shots on goal, and he was really Utah's best offensive performer all season, 29 goals, 63 points, led the Grizzlies in both categories. And for Kyle Betts, who knows what kind of year he would have had had he played the entire season with the Grizzlies, as he spent 40 games this year in the AHL with the Belleville Senators. It was kind of interesting how Betts was in camp for the Grizzlies, and then played the first weekend, 2 games against Rapid City where he had 1 assist, and then he got loaned to Belleville, which is kind of an odd thing for people in this league, from fans in this league. It's like, well, wait a minute, I thought we were affiliated with Colorado. Well, the Grizzlies are affiliated with Colorado, but if you have an ECHL contract, you're essentially an AHL free agent, and any AHL team could pick you up. So Betts got picked up by Belleville, and even though he only had 1 goal and 2 assists in 40 games for Belleville, it was really the experience he got practicing all season, playing against and playing with AHL competition. And then once Belleville released him from his deal, maybe the last week of the regular season for the ECHL, maybe at the very end of the AHL season, Betts comes over here. He looked great in the final weekend against Tulsa that captured a playoff spot for the Grizzlies. And here in the first 5.5 games worth of playoff action, Betts just seems like he's a step ahead of everybody. And it seems like the game is slowed down to a pace where he can really function at a high level because he's been playing at that top level, that higher level all season.
Step ahead sounds about right, Tyson. I mean, this is a guy that's just got a ton of speed. You mentioned that conditioning that you get in the AHL. You really come back to the ECHL and you're right, the game kind of just slows down to you. You're seeing him just pick his head up, seeing plays develop a high hockey IQ, just really understanding where the puck needs to go to make plays. And I think the same thing we've seen from Betts, we've seen from Brandon Cutler, another guy that spent a lot of time in the AHL, came back a little bit earlier to the Grizzlies. Spent more time with the Grizzlies than Betts did this season. He was almost a point per game player with the Grizzlies. Cutler was. He's been really good so far in this game. I think it's only a matter of time before he finally gets that first goal of the series. And really, I thought the Grizzlies played a well-rounded second period. I think in the first period, you could probably say the possession was dominated by Idaho. But in the second period, I'd say that the Grizzlies had possession more often than the Steelheads did. So I think that that's a good building block for the Grizzlies here. But I think as we've learned over the last 3 games, the Grizzlies have 20 minutes to get it done. You don't want to go to overtime. Grizz need to find a way to take care of business in regulation.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the third. And it's really no surprise that we got another close game. You know, you think about for the last 5 games in this series, or really the last 4 games being decided by 1 goal. The only game in this series that was not decided by 1 goal was Utah's 3-0 victory in game 1. Otherwise, it's been 4 1-goal games, including 3 overtime contests. And for the Grizzlies, I think every Grizzlies fan's thinking, please just end it in regulation. Whatever you do, just end it in regulation, because Utah has won 7 games against Idaho in postseason competition. All 7 of those have been in regulation. As for Idaho, their last 9 victories against the Grizzlies in the playoffs have all come in overtime. So it's really just been a crazy thing and just kind of a crazy trend. I think for the Grizzlies, they want to find a way to get that goal in the third period, play with the lead, and maybe keep the lead to force a game 7.
And it just goes to show, you mentioned all those close 1-goal games. It just goes to show how close these teams really are in terms of skill. We talked about in the first intermission how these teams met 15 times up until January, met 18 times in the regular season, and really the Grizzlies roster looks almost nothing like it did back in January than it does now. So I think the Grizzlies are a much better team now. The gap is really close. Closer than it's ever been. And as a result of that, we're seeing a really close series. And if the Grizzlies are able to grind out a win here today, they take it to 7 games. And I think that's just it, though. The Grizzlies need to find a way to win this game. They're up against the wall, elimination game, and it seems like the Grizzlies are not backing down. They don't want to be playing golf next weekend. They want to be in the second round. And so I think that we saw that passion come out in the second period, but it's really got to come out here in the third. I mean, this Idaho team isn't just going to sit back. They want to make it to the second round, too, because that's what you play for. You want to play for that Kelly Cup that would go right there between those 2 Turner Cups. And I think the Grizzlies know that. They're going to play with a lot of passion, but they got to bring the heat here in the third.
I think they actually put the Kelly Cup on its own table and not combine it with the Turner Cups.
There's space over there.
Now, speaking of the second round of the playoffs, the winner of this series will face the Allen Americans, as Allen came away with a 2-1 victory over Kansas City. That game has gone final. Allen advances to the Mountain Division Finals. Stephon Fournier, the former Wichita Thunder skater, he scored the first goal of the game, 14:09 into the first period. Nobody scored in the second period. Yakov Novak got what turned out to be the game winner, 1:26 into the third period. Rosen, who was a late season pickup for Kansas City, he scored 2:24 in, with McLaughlin and Hugo Waugh getting the assists. But Allen comes away with the victory, as both teams had 41 shots. It was a pretty evenly played game, and I imagine a pretty evenly played series. But the Americans just had too much offensive firepower. They defeat Kansas City 2-1 tonight, and they win the series 4-2. The Zambonis are on the ice over Idaho Central Arena, and we got ourselves another barn burner. We're tied at 1. Wouldn't have it any other way, and we know what the regular season standings look like, but the Grizzlies are going toe-to-toe with the best regular season team in the league. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens here in the third period as the Grizzlies look to keep their season alive, but they need a strong third period in order to find a way to continue playing past tonight. Don't forget that if Game 7 is necessary, if the Grizzlies come away with the victory, Game 7 will be tomorrow night. 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. We'll be hanging out the lobby at Maverik Center once again, and that will be a huge game. Obviously, the season will be on the line. Game 7 in the NHL. The New Jersey Devils win a playoff series for the first season since 2012. First time since 2012. the Devils defeat the Rangers, and the score was 4-0 as the Devils scored 2 goals in the third period. And Schmidt with a 31-save shutout for the Devils. Plot had 2 assists. McLeod had 1 goal for the Devils. They defeat the New York Rangers 4-0. And what a disappointing ending. Who would have thought that the New York Knicks season would extend longer than the New York Rangers season? As the Knicks are in the second round of the playoffs, they lost Game 1 to the Miami Heat yesterday. 2 NBA games. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The 76ers defeat the Celtics 119-115. And late second quarter, a very low-scoring game in the Western Conference. Phoenix leads Denver 34-33. That game with 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter. When we come back, we'll have third period action from Boise as we're tied at 1. Kyle Betts scored a second period goal. He's got 3 goals in the series. That leads the Grizzlies. Cameron Wright got an assist. He leads the Grizzlies with 7 postseason points. We'll come back and have third period action in 2 minutes. Once again, the score after 2 periods. It's the Grizzlies 1 and the Steelheads 1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Grizzlies Hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Third period action will begin shortly, but knowing these remote broadcasts will just kind of sneak up on us at some point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the third. The shots have been pretty close to even. I think for the Grizzlies, as I mentioned in the first intermission, it's kind of that weird combination of being patient yet finding a way to be aggressive at times against Idaho. Seems like puck possession seems to be Idaho's specialty. They end up winning a lot of those 50-50 pucks and then kind of getting possession off of that, winning a lot of battles along the boards. And when they're at their best, it seems like they always have the puck and they always seem to be the aggressor. For the Grizzlies, they got to be patient, but when it's time to be the aggressor, when it's time to be tough along the boards, Grizzlies have got to be physical and make sure that they kind of maintain their spot on the ice.
I agree, Tyson. The Grizzlies really have had that patient approach when they play the Steelheads, and I look at games 1 and 2 as prime example. I mean, you can describe the Grizzlies play as just like a snake in the grass, just waiting for that perfect opportunity to pounce on its prey. That was the Grizzlies in games 1 and 2. They kind of got away for that the games here at Maverik Center because Idaho, when they have the puck, they just try and suffocate you with puck possession. And they're just trying to get you to stay in your own zone, just kind of just suffocate you to the point where all you can do is really just dump the puck down and make a change, and that they just beat you down to the point where you're so tired that they just have that possession for so long that they just start getting to you and they score those goals. So for the Grizzlies, it's about matching that puck possession, but also playing that strategic game that you want to play. Because if you try and get away from your game plan, you're going to have a tough time adapting to it on the fly against a team like the Steelheads. So, and I think that's why the Steelheads have been so good throughout the course of the regular season. So for the Grizzlies, stick to your game plan, but you got to find a way to start winning faceoffs and really just at least keep that possession 50-50.
Grizzlies are hoping to do what didn't happen. Two other teams got eliminated tonight. Seems like it's Elimination Monday as Florida defeated South Carolina in overtime 2-1 as the Everblades move on to the second round. As it looks like Joe Pendenza got the game winner, his third goal of the series, and that happened in the first overtime, 9:35 in, as the Everblades get a 2-1 victory over South Carolina as they win the series 4-2. And that's, the Florida's the defending champs. They know how to win those big games, but South Carolina had an outstanding year of their own right. But Florida wins the series 4-2. And the winner of the Utah-Idaho Mountain Division semifinal series will face the Allen Americans as Allen defeats Kansas City 2-1. Looks like an outstanding crowd over at Idaho Central Arena as we're about set for third period action. Kyle Betts was the optimum first goal of the game scorer. But, Guy, if the Grizzlies come out on top tonight, who do you think is going to be the hero?
Well, Tyson, I went with Cameron Wright to score the first goal in this game just because it's a big moment, big atmosphere, elimination game. He seems to come up big in the clutch. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go with Cameron Wright to get that next goal because 2-1 might be the magic number here today. We saw 2 games earlier and with 2-1 scores. Seems like this one might be headed the same direction.
Looks like the Grizzlies are going to be skating from left to right as we see it from Flow Sports. In your mind's eye, see it on YouTube. That's right. We know what YouTube's known for, but we'll try to paint a picture for you, even though on these remote broadcasts it can be tough sometimes. Idaho will be skating from right to left here in the third period. The Grizzlies wearing the white jerseys with black numbers and professional green trim. Idaho wearing a blue jersey with white numbers and white lettering in the back. Betts will take the draw. He's got Cameron Wright and Dakota Raby out there. Up top is James Shearer and Luke Martin. Taking the face-off for Idaho is A.J. White. White wins the draw as Idaho will move it out towards center ice. It bounced off a Steelhead stick, and Jordan Kawaguchi as Idaho gets it and dumps it in from neutral ice as the Grizzlies spin it along the near wing boards. Goes out to Kyle Betts. He'll throw it to center ice. It's picked off by Dawson Bardo, who will tap it off the far boards. Goes to White, who moves it ahead. Idaho in the attack zone. Murphy drops off for White. Lefty shot goes wide. Murphy throws it towards the left point. It's taken by Johnson. He'll take a lefty shot, and it kicks off a Luke Martin skate and rolls towards the far boards. Grizzlies clear it out to center. Johnson chases after it. He gets there before Dawson Bardo as Johnson behind his net. Play continues 40 seconds into the third period as Johnson skates down the middle. He'll throw it to the far side for Bardo. He moves out to center ice. Puck bounced off a Jack Becker stick. He keeps it. He skates in. He gets hit by Tho. Puck towards the end boards as Becker lost it. Tho will backhand it out towards center ice. It's cut out by Cudley. He keeps it in. No, he doesn't keep it in. The Eagle Eye linesman says that Cudley was offside, and that stops play with 19:03 left in the first. Neutral zone draw near the bench area. Guy, what'd you notice in the first minute?
Well, Tyson, I noticed that Idaho takes that puck and they try to go right down Broadway. It looks like Becker, the addition to the lineup for the Steelheads in this game, just tries to make an impact and try and catch the Grizzlies off guard to start the period. Grizzlies need to be ready here. This is the biggest period of your season so far.
Draws near the Grizzlies bench. Guy, why don't you just wave to the camera at Luke? That's the guy right there. I'm Tyson if you're watching on YouTube.
Hi, Dane.
Utah wins the draw. Puck goes to center ice. Grizzlies skate in. Set goes towards the right side. He spins it around the boards. Cutler over in the left corner. He'll throw it to the point. Nobody's there as the puck's out at neutral ice, and the Grizzlies chase after it in their own zone. As Martin behind his net will give it towards, I believe that's Aaron Tho. Mayhew's in the area. Tho throws it towards Mayhew on the far side. Now it goes back to Tho as he'll chip it ahead. It goes to center ice. Sekos handles the puck at the center ice logo. He'll move it ahead. Mayhew skates down the middle. He puts a move on. They'll take a shot, and it's blocked by Cudla. Puck squirts back to center. As Penner throws it to the far side, Bryson Martin dumps it back in. Grizzlies make a change about 2 minutes into the third period. Back behind Idaho's net. Still has to throw it over towards the far side. Puck goes over the stick of Bryson Martin. He chases after it, neutral ice. As Martin collides with Colton Keller. Mayhew backhands it out to center ice. It's taken by Haskinen for Idaho. He'll dump it in. Miner behind his net cuts it off. Bryson Martin gets it. Second game in this series that Martin has played, and he had 2 goals and 11 assists in the regular season. Martin will slide it to the near side for McDonald, who will outlet it to center ice. Goes past Dylan Fitz. He chases after it. Deep in the Steelhead zone. She'll will get it to Kanadi. He'll drop it off as Idaho will outlet it to center ice as the Steelheads skate after it deep in Utah's zone. Martin collides with the Steelhead over on the far side, and that's A.J. White. Martin battles, and the puck goes over to James Shearer as he'll bounce it. It ricochets on to Miner, who covers up towards the far goal line. Well, it kind of seems like game 5 where the puck just seems to have a mind of its own at times.
It does, Tyson. I think we're estimating, we're not over in Boise, but it probably has something to do with the fact that it was 80 degrees in Boise today. So, you can try and keep that arena as cold as you want, but the heat from the outside is just going to try and seep in. And so it might be playing tricks on the ice. And as a result of that, you get those funny puck bounces. For the Grizzlies, use that to your advantage. Take those shots, try and get that funny hop as it's gone against you in the last 3 games.
Draw one by the Grizzlies. It goes towards the corner. Steelheads battle. Zane Franklin gets it. He throws it towards the right point. Cody Askin and righty shot goes wide. Actually looked like he kind of fanned on it. Might have been blocked by a Grizzly. Luke Martin throws it towards the right point as Pfizer throws it to Martell. The Rooster gets hit as Idaho will chip it off the near wing boards. It goes towards A.J. White. He couldn't handle it. And the arm is raised by the linesman as icing is on the Steelheads with 17-12 left in the third period. Don't forget, if there is a Game 7, it's going to be tomorrow night. 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. And for the Grizzlies, it's an elimination game, but it's interesting to note that the road team has won all 5 games in this series. Idaho scored first as Zane Franklin found the back of the net, 9:04 into the first period. And Kyle Betts tied it up 13-12 into the second. Draws in the left circle. Kyle Betts will take it. Betts taking a lot of face-offs for the Grizzlies tonight. This one's won by Idaho. Nick Canati skates around to Idaho's net, and he'll throw it to the near side as Idaho gets to neutralize. Big hit delivered by Betts on Justin Ducharme. Grizzlies enter from the left side. Cameron Wright, righty shot goes wide. Puck glides along the near boards. Martin throws to the corner. Ritchie looks to center. Grizzlies get it. Backhand shot. Shield with a great trip. Now Utah gets tripped up, and no call as Idaho gets to center ice. As Betts is holding his face. He'll skate towards the bench. As Wade Murphy towards the left side, skates towards the near goal line. Righty shot, saved by Minor. As Kyle Betts got hit in the face, he gets looked over by Colin Lee, the Grizzlies trainer. No call on the play as Betts has got a towel to his face, and Colin Lee is looking over him as Nolan Ritchie looks on. As Kyle Betts just kind of skated over, and Betts, Luke Martin in the area. And we didn't get a good look there at Betts. They show the Cameron Wright left wing shot. And then Luke Martin was towards the right side. Wanted to see what happened to Kyle Betts as he was over towards the right side. Now they show Betts. Well, I'm not sure what happened. I think the puck ended up coming up and hitting him as Betts was laying at neutral ice. Now he's on the bench. Kyle Betts looks like he's going to be okay as Colin Lee, the Grizzlies trainer, laughs, and it looks like Betts is okay. It didn't even look like he drew blood. If he did, it was cleaned up. Draws in the near side of the Grizzlies zone. Utah wins it. Looks like Betts will be back in the game as Utah with a rink-wide pass. Idaho pokes it back the other way. Mayhew chases after it in the corner of the Grizzlies zone. He gets it. He's got outstanding speed. He skates around Minor's net, moves it ahead. Rink-wide pass. It goes over to Cutler. He enters the zone from the right side. And he tried to chip it across, bounced off a Steelhead. Now Idaho towards the Grizzlies bench. Kawaguchi gets hit by Mayhew. Puck glides from the left point onto Minor, who just covers up with 16-13 left in the third. Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone here early in the third period. But the good thing, it looks like Kyle Betts is going to be okay.
Yeah, we can take a sigh of relief. Kyle Betts has been one of the Grizzlies' best players in this series. And at first I thought that might have been a high stick. And I was like, whoa, where's the penalty? But it looks like they did get that right. As he under further inspection, it looks like the puck hit him in the face. So either way, hopefully Kyle Betts is going to be able to stay in there. Looks like he's got a smile on his face, and he's going to remain in the game.
Draw's going to be in the near side. We're tied at 1. 16-13 left in the third. As a draw won by Idaho. Patrick Cudla, high slot, lefty shot into traffic, and it goes wide. By skates towards the near side. He gets the puck, and he'll roll it around the boards. Keller cuts it off behind the net. He'll throw it towards the far side. Hedrick, right wing, one-timer goes wide. Puck glides to center ice. Cudla will have a bounce off the stick of Fitz. It glides into the Steelhead zone. Shield towards the far goal line, throws it around his net. Penner has it glance off in. Penner gets it back, right point. He'll throw it across to Martin. He'll take a lefty shot, and it's blocked out in front as the puck goes behind the net. Now the Grizzlies, right wing, Raby with the lefty shot and goes wide. Puck goes back over to Bryce Martin. He gets hit. Penner tried to get it back to Martin. He wasn't looking. Fitz skates around Idaho's net. He gets the puck in the near corner, but overskates it. 2-on-2 battle in the corner. Fitz holding his ground. Puck squirts towards the point. Connor McDonald gets it. He'll take a righty shot that bounced off the backboard. Hedrick will throw it towards the far side. Raby couldn't reach it. Now it goes to the left point. Sure throws to the corner. Fitz behind the net, trying to kick it out in front. It glanced off a skate. Demowski will bounce it off the far glass. McDonald will literally kick it towards the far circle. Idaho gathers it as the Steelheads will move it out to center ice. As they'll fire a shot off the screen, it's blocked. Now Idaho gets it back. Right wing shot saved by Minor, and he holds on with 14:59 left in the third. Seems like the puck's going to be along the boards a lot here in the third period, as it has been here a lot here so far in the game. And it seems like winning those 50-50 pucks are going to be critical.
Yeah, Tyson, I agree. And I think that's one thing the Grizzlies did really well in the first two games of the series, games that they won, is they were winning those races to the puck. They were winning those battles along the boards. And we talked about possession. You win those battles, you get possession. You keep it out of the hands of the Idaho Steelheads.
We're tied at 1:14:57 left in the third period. The two referees tonight are Tyler Haskell and Jake Jackson. The two linesmen are Scott DeBaugh and Brian Gorkoff. Draw's going to be in the far circle. Jack Becker will take it against Keaton Jamison. Jamison a +4 in the series. He had 15 goals in the regular season. Draw won by Idaho, but it exits the zone. Steelheads will back it out. Nick Canati at his blue line will move it ahead. Idaho to the left wing, tries to carry it into the zone. Good job by Luke Martin cutting off Jack Becker. As the puck goes towards the far side, it exits play, and it looks like Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. So they'll get a new puck with 14:44 left in the third period. Cody Haskinen's been active tonight. Idaho, once again, for the fourth straight game, is without maybe their best defenseman in Matt Register, certainly the most experienced defenseman, a guy who might be a future Hall of Famer in the league. He was a +53 this season. He was critical to the Idaho power play as Idaho wins the draw, but Register's out of the lineup one. Puck towards the far corner. Now Idaho around the net. Sure cuts it off. They feed it out in front, near him in the area, but Miner gathers it about shoulder high as the puck lifted in the air towards the crease, and Miner was able to gather it with 14:33 left in the third.
Well, all series long, Tyson, it's been about the goaltending. Trent Miner stealing the show over Idaho Central Arena in the first two games. He's going to have to steal it here. Think about a game like this. It could be next goal wins, so he's going to have to be on his A game, and the Grizzlies are going to have to find a way to solve Adam Shield for the second time tonight.
Idaho's taken the first three shots of this third period. 14:23 left in the final regulation frame. But we know the game doesn't always end after 60 minutes. 3 straight overtime games at Maverik Center. Idaho won all 3. As draws over in the far circle, and it's won by the Grizzlies. Utah throws it around their net. McDonald to the near side, moves it ahead. Pass doesn't connect, and it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies with 14:25 left in the third. Kind of feels like a chess match both teams are playing here. It kind of feels like both teams defensively just don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to have that critical mistake, and it seems like both teams playing a little bit conservative as a result.
Well, and that's exactly what we saw in Game 5 in the third period, and of course that game went to overtime, and the Grizzlies lost early on. I think the difference here is I think the Grizzlies, while you might want to be scared to go to overtime, you might want to be scared of letting in that next goal, I think you got to be aggressive here and try and get that next one.
Utah wins the draw. They move it out to center ice. Grizzlies get to center. Left wing, they dump it in. As Casey Johnson chases after it, he collides with Cameron Wright. Johnson goes down, but Idaho has the puck. They'll throw it out to center as they're looking ahead. A.J. White couldn't reach it. Puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. White gets it. He'll spin it towards the far boards as Idaho towards the far corner chips it out in front, and it goes wide as the Grizzlies get it towards the near wall as Wright outlets it out to Ritchie. Now to Kyle Betts. He'll dump it in as it looks like Ritchie's playing with Betts and Wright here in the third period. Wright couldn't handle it. We get a whistle. I think we got a penalty. Kyle Betts got hit by Dawson Bardo along the backboards of Idaho's zone. Looks like Bardo can't believe it, but he's going to skate to the penalty box. Looks like Utah's going to be on the power play when we come back. 13:52 left in the third period. We're tied at 1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Utah's on the power play after Dawson Bardo got 2 minutes for boarding. 6:08 into the third period. Both teams are 0 for 2 on the power play, but this is a good chance for the Grizzlies to take a 2-1 lead.
It's a great chance, Tyson, and it could be the difference. I mean, the difference may be a loss here today or getting a goal going up 2-1, cashing in on the special teams. So I think this is the biggest moment for the Grizzlies on the power play all season.
Draw's going to be in the far circle of Idaho's zone. Utah wins the face-off, but it exits the zone as Mayhew gets over to Betts to Pfizer. Pfizer back in his own zone wearing number 8. Gets it to Mayhew, who's wearing number 6. He joined the Grizzlies late in the regular season. He'll skate to center ice and drop it off for Pfizer. Actually, Cutler over to Pfizer. Jamison back towards Pfizer, who gets hit along the near boards. Puck goes back over to Mayhew on the right side as he's over in the high slot. Right wing slide to Pfizer. Pfizer across to Cutler. Left side, he'll chip it towards the far goal line. Jamison around the net. So he'll chip it towards Pfizer on the right point. He gets the puck. He'll throw it back towards Jamison, near goal line. Jamison skates around Idaho's net. He gets double-team puck towards the left side. One-timer goes wide. That was taken by, I believe, Raby. Pfizer over towards Mayhew. Now to Cutler. Cutler was actually the one that took that shot. He'll fire it towards the far goal line. Grizzlies chip it across, but Pfizer couldn't reach it. It goes to center ice. Pfizer gets the puck back as Utah resets halfway through their third power play of the game. Utah enters from the left side, but Idaho clears it out. As Minor towards the near goal line, we'll get it to Mayhew. He'll skate around Utah's net. 50 seconds left in Utah's power play. Mayhew to neutralize, so cross center and drop it off. As Utah crosses center, they skate towards the slot. They feed it to the right side. Martell over towards right. He'll throw it up top for Martin, left side. Across towards right. Idaho gets a stick in the way. Good defensive play by the Steelheads. They'll bounce it off the Martell. Skates around Idaho's net. Martell to the left side. He'll skate towards a point, drop it off for Martin. Back to Martell. He's in the high slot. He'll feed it to the right side for Raby. Now towards right. Slot. Righty shot goes wide. Puck goes back towards the left side. Martin gets it, and he'll throw it towards his left. Cameron Wright fires towards the net, and it's blocked out in front. Wright gets it back left side. He'll throw it up top for Martin. Across to Martell. He's in the right point. He'll throw it across to right. One-timer, and it goes wide. And that will do it for the power play as Bardo's out of the penalty box. Utah's 0 for 3 on the power play. Bardo joins the play as Cameron Wright gets it deep in the Grizzlies zone. He skates down the middle. He'll chip it towards the near side for McDonald, who's trying to locate it. McDonald in the corner, drops it off right. Raby gets it back towards right. He skates to center ice. He gets challenged by 3 Steelheads. Wright will flip it into the right corner. Raby chases after it. He collides with Kanadi. As Raby gets double-teamed, Idaho throws it towards Kanadi as Utah centers it towards Penner. He couldn't reach it. Now left side, Martin shot, and it's blocked out in front. Might have gotten a piece of shield. Idaho near side, brink wide pass connects 2-on-1. Still had skate towards the right side. They put a move on Minor, but the net gets kicked open, and Utah skates towards center ice. Grizz with the puck. Fitz skates towards the right circle. Shot! And a score! Dylan Fitz makes it 2-1 as Utah's net was open. That distracted the Steelheads a little bit, but Fitz fired towards the right side and got it past Adam Shield. Utah takes a 2-1 lead with 11:02 left in the third period. Well, the Steelheads had a 2-on-1, didn't connect, and then the net got kicked open. Play continued, and Dylan Fitz just skated down the right side and got one past Adam Shield.
Oh, boy, Tyson, that's why you keep playing until you hear a whistle. Dylan Fitz did not hear the whistle because the Grizzlies had possession after that net got knocked open. He goes immediately the other way and winds and blasts an absolute laser past Adam Shield, and the Grizzlies now have a 2-1 lead in a crucial elimination game.
Idaho can't believe it. They think the whistle should have been blown, but it looked like they got distracted by that. Play continued, and Fitz skated down the other end and found the back of the net for the third time this series. One of the referees, and that's Tyler Haskell, he's talking things over with Everett Sheen. As Idaho thinks there's some controversy there. They think play should have been stopped after the net got dislodged. It was a 2-on-1. It looked like Idaho had a good look, and then still just kind of ran into Trent Minor's net. It was kind of an odd-looking play, considering it looked like Idaho, if they were just a little bit more patient, could have had an outstanding look of their own. But it looks like play is going to continue with 11:02 left in the third, and Utah up 2-1. You talk about critical goals in this series. Everett Sheen can't believe it. He's got a beard and a bald head, and he just looks like he's a little bit disgusted as he thought play should have been stopped. Draw's going to be at center ice. Zach Sekos will take it for Utah. As the Grizz are skating from left to right here in the third period, and now they have a 2-1 lead as they've scored 2 unanswered in this contest. Grizzlies win the faceoff as Mayhew moves it ahead. Grizzlies dumping in. Shield stays in net. Pfizer to the right side, looks to center it. Shot goes wide. As the puck goes towards the far corner, Domowski battles. The puck goes towards the right corner as Cudley gets hit, but he keeps the puck. Now he moves it ahead. As Idaho towards center ice, crosses center. Keller will bounce it off it, though, gathers the puck, and he moves it past to Pfizer. He skates down the middle. Now Pfizer gains the line and drifts over to the left point. He'll dump it in. Idaho towards the corner. Will chip it out of the zone. It goes to center ice, glanced off his stick. Idaho gathers it. Utah thought it was played with a high stick, but we play on. White towards center ice as Idaho reset the attack. They want to enter the attack zone with a little bit of momentum. Hedrick towards neutral ice. Will feed it to the near side. It connects with White, who backhands it off the backboards. Idaho gets the puck in the near corner. They throw it off the side of the net, and Miner covers up as it looked like Wade Murphy was in the left corner. He tried to center it to Kawaguchi, but it hit the side of the net, and Trent Miner was able to hold on. Grizzlies take a 2-1 lead as Dylan Fitz scored from the right circle. Canadi had a good look, and it just looked like he was a little bit too patient there. He didn't find a good shooting angle and tried to throw a pass and dislodge the net himself. Grizzlies came back the other way, and Dylan Fitz just found plenty of room right side and got it past Adam Scheel. Looked like Scheel and the other Steelheads were maybe expecting Fitz to pass, but they're also possibly expecting the whistle to blow. 10:04 left in the third period. Utah gets the puck. They lead 2-1 as Grizz lifting out to center ice. As Idaho back in their own end, Nick Canadi make that. Casey Johnson gets it. He skates around Idaho's net. He's being shadowed by Nolan Ritchie. Now he chips over to the near side as Idaho gets to White, back to Johnson. They'll lift a right wing pass out to center ice. Now Kawaguchi backhands it in. White chases after it. So is James Scheer behind Utah's net. He'll slide it towards the far side. Idaho cuts it off. Bardo feeds it to the far corner as Idaho skates back towards the point. Now across to Johnson. He'll chip it to the near circle. Murphy with a shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound, shot, and a score. And it's A.J. White out in front as the Steelheads have tied it up with 9:27 left in the third. Boy, there's a lot of action out in front of the net. Murphy was to the left side, centered it towards A.J. White. There's about 4 or 5 bodies in the area, but somehow White was able to slide it past the goal line. A.J. White gets a high five from his head coach, Everett Sheen, as they show a replay on Flow Sports. Kawaguchi was to the right point. He got it across to Johnson, who fed it to the far near circle for Murphy. He took a shot that bounced off the Miners' pads, and then White was able to get the rebound and put it away as A.J. White gets his third of the series.
Well, Trent Miner hasn't allowed a lot of rebounds in this series, but that's one he's going to want to have back. Just puts it right on the stick of A.J. White, and that's a guy who's had a phenomenal series, and he's not going to throw away a golden opportunity like that.
Connor McDonald argues the case. Hard to say what the case would be. I mean, there were some bodies in the area. Maybe he wants like a goaltender interference call. Idaho is arguing the Utah goal to make it 2-1, and now it looks like Utah has a slight argument on kind of the logistics of the Idaho goal. As Colton Keller talking things over for Idaho, let's see if there's anything unusual about this play. Kawaguchi got it to Johnson on the left side. He fed it to the near circle for Murphy. Murphy took a shot. Miner made the save. White then tapped it in. Doesn't look like there should be goaltender interference on the call. Really doesn't look like there was anything fishy about it. Looks like it should be a tie game.
I agree, Tyson. I think that looks like a good goal. I think it should be 2-2.
A.J. White started celebrating as he was near the crease. The shot was taken. White was still outside the crease. And then he just kind of batted it in the back of the net as White was battling with Luke Martin. Tyler Penner was in the area. Penner was battling with Dawson Bardo, trying to box him out. They're looking on video replay. They come out and they signal a good goal. You think they'd want the camera guy want to show the referee make the signal. Good goal was the call, and we're tied at 2. Like Guy and I said, we didn't really see anything there that says the goal should have been disallowed. There were some bodies near Trent Miner, but there wasn't any contact made with the Utah netminder. So it's anybody's game. We're tied at 2. Grizzlies scored with Dylan Fitz, and then Fitz scored 8:58 into the third period, and Idaho responded 9:27. Actually, they scored 10:34 in, so a minute and a half after Fitz scored unassisted, A.J. White got his third of the series with Murphy and Johnson getting the assists. Casey Johnson has 2 assists tonight for Idaho, as Idaho has it in their own zone, skating from right to left. As they get to about center ice, Connor McDonald challenges them. As the puck ends up at the far side in the Grizzly zone at the point, Fitz will move it ahead as it goes towards Raby. He tried to dump it in, but it didn't get very far. As Idaho towards the near side, will play a patient approach here as Owen Hedrick towards new tries. Will slide it ahead, bounced off a stick. Grizzlies throw it back to center as Idaho gets to the left side. Hedrick feeds it across as Idaho will bounce it in as it rolls around the boards towards the near corner. Idaho feeds it up top for Kawaguchi. Now it goes to Hedrick on the left side, and he'll slide it towards the left point. They couldn't handle it. Grizzlies get it. Fitz skates towards the right circle. He'll fire a shot, and it goes wide. Fitz looking for a second game, and he missed it by that much. Idaho skates towards their left. They'll drop it off. Hedrick couldn't reach it. As Raby carries it out to center ice. He gets challenged by Hedrick. Puck toward the far side. Grizzlies move it ahead, but Idaho gets it their blue line. Puck seems to be tough to handle here tonight. As a Steelhead skate from right to left. As Heiskanen moves it to the right side. Idaho's A.J. White dumps it to the corner. Grizzlies gather it. They'll clear it back out. And looks like the puck, and it looks like an offside's called. Draw's going to be towards center ice as the puck played Plinko for a second. 8:09 is left in the third period. We're tied at 2. Dylan Fitz scored 8:58 in, but A.J. White for Idaho tied it up 10:34 in. Both Fitz and White picked up their third goal of the series. We got another classic over at Idaho Central Arena. We're back in 30 seconds on the Grizzlies Hockey Network. Well, Dylan Fitz gave Utah a 2-1 lead, but Idaho answered with a tying goal. And once again, we got ourselves a barn burner at Idaho Central Arena.
Well, Dylan Fitz scored on it the first time around. He said, "Man, want to work the first time? Let's try it again." And this time he just misses the net by just a touch. And as a result of that, still a 2-2 game. It's going to come right down to the wire.
Idaho has outshot Utah 25-19. Draws at center ice. We're back to live action. Game 6 of the Mountain Division semifinals. The winner of this series will face the Allen Americans in round 2. Grizzlies get it over. Pfizer, right wing shot goes wide. Puck goes to the left point. Grizzlies in the attack zone as they throw it to the far corner. Cutler battles, but Idaho gets the puck as they'll move it out towards center ice. Idaho carries it towards center as Ducharme gets hit by Pfizer. Puck deep in the Grizzly zone. Idaho around Utah's net. They skate towards the left side. As Idaho skates towards their right, Ducharme with good speed will tap it to the right point. Idaho righty shots blocked in front of Minor about 10 feet. As Pfizer carries it out to center ice, he'll cross the red line and backhand it in. Johnson chases after it. Bardo gets it. He's got an NHL entry-level deal with the Dallas Stars. He'll slide it ahead as Idaho towards center ice. Good back check by the Grizzlies and Kyle Betts. Betts got it taken away by Casey Johnson, who's got 2 assists tonight. Johnson back in his own zone. We'll throw it across to Bardo. 7:10 and counting left in the third. We're tied at 2. As Johnson swings and misses, he tried to get it towards center ice, but he eventually got it on a second chance over to Domowski. Idaho dumps it in. Minor behind his net. We'll throw it to the near side. As Grizzlies lift it high into the air. It goes into the Steelhead zone. Hedrick gets it in the near circle. He'll move it across as Idaho towards center ice. Domowski in the area. He'll fire it in as Martin cuts it off in the far circle. He'll outlet it to center ice. Pass doesn't connect, and looks like it went out of play. 6:42 left in the third period as a fan comes away with a souvenir. He looks like he's pretty happy about it. Looks like a great crowd over at Idaho Central Arena. Hopefully there's some Grizzlies fans that made the trip over there and are enjoying that one with the crowd.
Yeah, it's tough to get in there, but I'd like to see a lot of Grizzlies fans over there. We got some great Grizzlies fans hanging over in the chat here on YouTube. So good to see everybody here on a critical game for the Grizzlies.
Draw at center ice, won by Idaho. They skate from right to left during the third period. Kawaguchi skates towards the left circle. Great back check, but Kawaguchi now gets tripped up. Fans wanted a penalty, and it doesn't look like one is called. As Grizzlies clear it out. Fans look like they can't believe it. Grizzlies skate towards the right side. Raby skates towards his left. He gets it poked away. Now the Rooster, toe drag, righty shot, saved by Shield. As the Steelheads towards the far side, lifted out to center, and it goes out of play. As looked like it tapped off the glass and no delay of game. A fan in a beard. It looked like he was trying to come away with a souvenir, and it looks like he missed. Kawaguchi got back checked by Martin, and no call was made. And then Kawaguchi pushed Bryson Martin as we continue to skate 5-on-5. 6:12 left in the third period. We're still tied at 2 as Patrick Cudless skates towards the bench as he talks with the assistant coach, Keenan Kelly, who I believe is a native of Boise. I think at one point he used to be a Steelheads season ticket holder. Good news for him. He can get to every game for free now. In fact, they actually pay him to go to Steelheads games now. Draws towards the far circle. Sekos will take it. He's got Pfizer to his left and Cutler to his right. 6:12 left in the third. Draws one by Jack Becker and the Steelheads as Colton Keller. Watch out for him. He's a strong role player. Plays a good two-way game. Over towards Franklin. He dumps it in from the left side. Johnson delivers a hit on a Grizzlies. Johnson gets pinned towards the boards. Becker gets pushed by Tho, but Becker continues to battle. Tho gets pushed. Puck goes deeper into the corner. Pfizer chips it from one corner to the other as Cutler chases towards the far side. He gets hit by Keller, but Cutler moves it ahead. Now Steelhead gets hit. Play starting to get physical again. As the puck bounced off the near boards, Mayhew backhands it to Pfizer, still in Utah's zone. Pfizer skates down the middle. He gets to neutralize. He crosses center and chips it in. Grizzlies make a line change. 5.5 minutes left in the third period. And Grizzlies fans are saying, please just end it in regulation. Idaho throws it towards the near side. Ducharme gets it. He'll stop before he gets to the corner. He blows a tire. Martin in the area as the puck goes behind Utah's net. Sure chases after it. He'll glide it towards the far side. Idaho will tap it off a Grizzly. It goes towards center ice as Idaho from neutral ice dumps it back in. Grizzlies come up with it as Martin towards the near side with about 5 minutes left skates down the middle. Now he veers off to the left and he'll chip a pass ahead towards Sekos, who had to chase after it. He'll glide it along towards the far corner. Idaho gets it back. Cudlick collides with Utah as Betts looks to center it. Idaho picks it off. Steelhead skate from right to left as it gets to neutral ice. Idaho tried to carry it out to center. Bice overskated it. Utah dumps it back in. As Patrick Cudlick gets it, he gets chased by Cameron Wright as Cudlick moves it towards the Idaho blue line. Blue line to blue line pass connects as Wade Murphy skates towards the slot. Righty shot goes wide. Bryson Martin gets it off the boards, and he'll move it out towards center ice. Idaho chasing after it. No icing as they get it with 4.5 minutes left in the third. Idaho moves it out ahead as White throws a right wing pass as Idaho enters the zone. As Idaho loses it in the far circle, Grizzlies get it back. Fitz carries it out to center ice left wing. He gets around Owen Hedrick. Hedrick holds him up as the puck glides towards the corner. 3-on-3 battle. A couple guys hit the ice. Idaho comes up with it. Still had skate out to neutral ice. 2-on-2. They enter the zone. Idaho drops it off for A.J. White. He skates towards the right circle. White tried to get to Miller, but it stays on White's stick. As White gets around two Grizzlies. Now he fires it across. It goes wide as he tried to find somebody out in front of the net. Goes to the left side. Miller lefty shot, and it's blocked by Pfizer, who gets it and clears it out. Good block shot by Taryn Pfizer. As the Steelheads with a right wing pass, they re-enter the zone. As Idaho towards the far corner gets hit by Kyle Mayhew. As the Steelheads towards the near corner, right in the area, he holds up Jack Becker. 3.5 minutes left in the third period. We're still tied at 2. Grizzlies in their own end as Wright moves it ahead, and it goes out to center ice, but Idaho has control. Bardo skates towards his right. Now he moves it ahead. Idaho re-enters the zone as the Steelheads get it over towards Keller. He'll bounce it off the backboard now. Near goal line, shot saved by Minor as the Grizzlies gather it. Idaho wants a penalty. We get a stoppage of play. And let's see, there is some action out in front of the net. The net looks like it stayed in place. It looks like the net might have gotten dislodged again. 3:11 left in the third. As we're tied at 2. We'll take one final timeout and tell you how regulation ends when we come back. Once again, the score after, well, we got 3:11 left in the third period, and we're tied at 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
3:11 is left in regulation. We're tied at 2. Attendance over at Idaho Central Arena is 4,509. 4,509 tonight. It's not a sellout at Idaho Central Arena. Well, it's going to come down to that final goal, and who knows, maybe late in regulation or maybe even in overtime. Guy, what have you seen?
Well, for the Grizzlies, you don't want to go to overtime just given that history. But I look at the shot count in the third, 5-2 in favor of Idaho. Not a lot of shots on both sides, but the Grizzlies got to find a way to get on their horse and get it done in regulation.
Draw towards the near side is won by Idaho. They get pushed towards the point. Puck exits the zone. As it goes into the Steelhead zone near corner, Grizzlies chase after it, but Idaho in control. As they throw it towards the far corner, Idaho slides it ahead. It bounced off the stick of Pfizer. Idaho chips it off the boards near their bench, which is on the near side as we see it. As Pfizer skates towards his left, he crosses center ice. He's being shadowed by Bice. Pfizer taps it off the near boards. It goes deep in the Steelhead zone as Cudla moves it out towards the far side. Idaho trying to chip it off the center. It bounced off a Grizzly. Idaho keeps it. As Domowski, left side, neutralized, so fire it towards the net. It goes wide. As Idaho right point, Hedrick keeps it in as he's battling with Betts. As the puck bounced off the backboards as Martin throws it towards the right point. Hedrick gets it. Righty shot saved by Minor. He holds on with 2:24 left in the third. Draw's going to stay in the Grizzlies zone. One thing during winning time, it seems like Idaho does an outstanding job of possessing the puck. It seems like they've done that here in the last couple minutes.
It does, Tyson. I think if you're the Grizzlies, you just got to find a way to stop the bleeding. I think that starts with just winning faceoffs. Critical draw here in your own zone. If you're able to scoop the puck up, just regroup a little bit. You can go on the forecheck and get something cooked up here in the last 2 minutes or so.
Idaho has outshot Utah 7-2 in the third period. Draw one by Idaho. Franklin, right wing, righty shot goes wide. Left point, Idaho has to go past him. Right chases after it, but Idaho gets it towards their bench area. Grizzlies get tripped up, no call. Looks like the officials are letting him play. Casey Johnson gets a stick from the bench as he rejoins the play. Haskin over to Johnson using somebody else's stick. He'll glide it towards the far side. Action, the Steelhead zone as Utah looked to feed it out in front to Betts. He gets picked off as Idaho skates the other way. White skates towards the right circle. Backhand shot goes wide. Might have gotten a piece of it. Over to the right side. White will chip it out in front for Johnson. He'll skate towards the left circle. Take a lefty shot. Saved by Minor. Casey Johnson with a good look there in the left circle as he was all alone, but Minor makes a critical save, maybe the biggest save he's made all season.
Well, that was a huge save by Trent Minor, Tyson. Just reading the play, keeping his eye on the puck, understanding that there was a save that needed to be made there. He was actually screened out in front, finds a way to avoid the screen, comes over to make that save, and like he has for most of the night, swallows it up, no rebound.
We're tied at 2, 1:44 left in regulation. We've had overtime each of the last 3 games. I think Grizzlies fans will like it to end in regulation, as Utah has won 7 regulation games in the playoffs against Idaho. Interestingly enough, the Steelheads have not won in regulation in the playoffs against Utah since 2010, back when Ryan Kanasowicz was a player. As Idaho has the puck, they throw it to the left circle. Utah takes it away. Grizzlies skate from left to right. As Fitz gets to center ice, he dumps it in. Hedrick chases after it. He gets the puck beyond Idaho's goal line. He'll chip it to the right side. Penner, righty shot, saved by Shield. Grizzlies left wing shot hits the side of the net. Utah centers it out in front. Betts and it's picked off by Jade Miller. He'll tap it out to center ice. Grizzlies get it back. 1:15 left in the third. Martin throws a blue line to blue line pass. It doesn't connect, and icing is on the Grizzlies with 1:11 left in the third. Don't forget the road team has won each of the first 5 games of this series. Utah won the first 2 games over at Idaho Central Arena by scores of 3-0 and 3-2. Idaho at Maverik Center won 3 straight overtime games. Games 3 and 5 were 3-2 scores. Game 4 was a 6-5 score, the highest scoring game of this series. Draw's going to be in the Steelhead zone. It looked like for a second Utah was calling for icing, but Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Sekos will take the draw. He's out there with Brandon Cutler, Taron Pfizer, and it looks like the defensive pairing is James Shearer and maybe Luke Martin. As a draw one by Martin would be off the screen, as we can't see him. As Idaho gets it, and they'll throw it out towards center ice. Martin chases after it, but the puck rolls towards Minor. He plays it in the crease. He'll get it to Luke Martin. Less than 1 minute left in regulation. Martin skates down the middle. He'll get to center ice, and he'll drive it in. It rolls towards the right corner. As Martin pins Idaho to the boards, Pfizer in the area as well. Idaho comes up with a puck as they'll throw it out to center ice. Idaho crosses center. Grizzlies back defensively. Steelheads skate towards the near corner. They try to chip it to Bice out in front, but the puck goes over to the left circle. As puck cleared out to the left point, stays in the Grizzlies zone. Haskinen over towards Bice. He centers it. Grizzlies throw it back to the near side. Pfizer gathers it, and he'll lift it in the air as it goes into the Steelhead zone. Idaho chases it down. 22 seconds left in the third. We're tied at 2. Idaho moves it out to center ice. It bounced off a stick and glides deep in the Grizzlies zone. Tho chases after it. He gets knocked down as a helmet gets lost, and that's Aaron Thos. He skates towards the bench. Grizzlies, 10 seconds left. Right with the left wing pass, gets poked away. Betts gets it, he dumps it in. Idaho with the puck, 3 seconds left. He'll throw it to Neutrice. And you got to be kidding me. We're going to have overtime for the 4th straight game in this series. We're tied at 2 as Idaho took a 1-0 lead. 9:04 into the first period. Zane Franklin scored his first of the series. Idaho led 1-0 after 1 period. Kyle Betts scored 13-12 into the second period. Cameron Wright getting the assist. The score was tied at 1 after 2 periods. In the third frame, Dylan Fitz gave Utah a 2-1 lead as he scored 8:58 into the third. It was unassisted. A.J. White tied it up 10:34 with Casey Johnson and Wade Murphy getting the assists. Idaho outshot Utah, looks like 9-3 in the third period. As regulation ends, Idaho ended regulation outshooting the Grizzlies 30-20. Utah 0 for 3 on the power play. Idaho 0 for 2. And we got ourselves a 4th overtime game in a row.
Well, if that's what it takes, then that's what we've got. Grizzlies and Steelheads going to overtime, and the Grizzlies are looking to break that curse. And finally, for the first time in over a decade, beat the Steelheads in overtime.
It's been a long time here in the postseason. Boy, I have a bad feeling. You think about 2019. Grizzlies won game 1 of that first-round playoff series 7-1. And then Idaho won 4 straight overtime games to win the series 4-1. Grizzlies are looking to reverse history as, the road teams won all 5 games in this series. That's the advantage to the Grizzlies. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we come back. We'll have third intermission coverage as we're heading to overtime for the 4th straight game. Guy Chiarenza will quarterback things. We'll talk about what can end up making the difference tonight as we're tied at 2 with the season on the line for the Grizzlies. The season is on the brink as Idaho leads the series 3-2. We know that 3-2 is going to be the final score tonight. For the 5th time in this series, the winning team will have 3 goals, as the only game that had more than 3 goals on the winning side was game 4 when Idaho won 6-5 in overtime. Who's going to be the hero for the Grizzlies and who to watch out for from the Idaho side? When we come back, Guy Chiarenza will quarterback regulation and end of regulation into overtime coverage as we're tied at 2, heading into overtime for the 4th straight game on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Well, the Grizzlies and Steelheads are tied at 2, and we're going to overtime as 60 minutes was not enough in an elimination game for the Grizzlies. as Idaho leads the series 3-2. Utah won games 1 and 2. Idaho won the next 3, all in overtime. So overtime was certainly a sight that Grizzlies fans didn't want to see, but they're going to have to try and break the curse here tonight if they want to stay alive. As opening the scoring, 9:04 into the first, was Zane Franklin, his first of the postseason from Ty Pelton-Bice and Casey Johnson. Just a play where Pelton-Bice was hanging out down below the near goal line, found Franklin skating into the slot. The pass connected, and he scored, making it 1-0 Idaho. Utah would respond in the second period, 13-12 in. Kyle Betts gets his third of the postseason. He now has 3 goals and 3 assists on the postseason campaign. Assisting him on that goal is Cameron Wright. Cameron Wright now has 7 points, leading the clubhouse for the Grizzlies in that department. And that made it a 1-1 game as Wright won the faceoff, fed it over to Betts, who whiffed on the initial shot, although I argue that he was just faking out the defense. And then he took the second opportunity and beat everybody, including Adam Scheel, making it a 1-1 game. And that was all the scoring that we had after 40 minutes of play. In the third period, both teams scored as Utah took a 2-1 lead off of a bomb of a shot from Dylan Fitz. Pretty controversial play, 8:58 into the third period, where the Steelheads came down. I believe it was Wade Murphy who was trying to deke out Trent Miner, ends up crashing into the net. The net becomes dislodged, but because the Grizzlies had possession after he turned it over, Dylan Fitz took it, went the other way, and just clapped just really a snapshot from the near circle over the shoulder of Adam Scheel, and that made it a 2-1 game for the Grizzlies. The Steelheads would respond, 10:34 into the third, as A.J. White picked up a rebound off of the pad of Trent Miner, was able to bury it home, making it a 2-2 game. Casey Johnson and Wade Murphy pick up the assists on the White goal, his third of the postseason, and that's where we stand after 60 minutes of play. So overtime is necessary. We'll go until somebody scores. Idaho leads the shot count 30-20 after regulation. They led the third period 9-3. So for the Grizzlies, they got to find a way to take more shots here in overtime. Utah's 0 for 3 on the power play. Idaho 0 for 2, so penalty kill units are doing good work here tonight. Adam Scheel got the start in net for the Steelheads. He stopped 18 of 20. Trent Miner has been fantastic, stopping 28 of 30. We're all knotted up after regulation. Grizzlies need a goal to keep their season alive.
I think the Grizzlies need to increase the shot count here in overtime. Idaho in the third period outshot Utah 9-3. It just seems like when we get to overtime in all 3 games at Maverik Center, just seemed like Idaho did an outstanding job with puck possession. Grizzlies have got to find a way to maintain puck possession. Really, they got to establish it. They got to get puck possession first. And then it's almost like they got to be a little bit patient in their own zone and find a way to just get it out of the zone. Once they do that, they should be fine. I think the real question is just Idaho's done such a good job of being ultra aggressive at getting the puck. And then once they do so, then then with them in control, then they play a little bit of a patient approach and find that open look. Make sure the puck stays out of the right point. That's where the last 2 overtime game winners started, was in the right point with Hedrick firing a shot that got redirected. I can't imagine that's how this one's going to end for the Grizzlies. It's just a matter of getting through those first 4 minutes, maintaining puck possession, and see if they can find a way to just get some shots on Adam Scheel. Seems like the transition game has been where Utah's been able to get its looks, but you got to get past neutralize, get it into the attack zone, and it'll be interesting to see. The officials certainly let them play. There was only 1 penalty in the third period. Dawson Bardo got a boarding minor 6:08 in. The officials are probably going to let them play for the most part here in overtime. So you got to be aggressive, and you just got to find a way. You have to dig. We're going to go over how many hockey cliches here in the next 10 minutes, because it really is just going to come down to finding a way to get the job done. It's just, you got to dig deep because the season's on the line and all sorts of cliches like that.
We're going to roll through all the cliches and maybe a motivational speech if necessary. Because you're right, you're going to have to dig deep. And I think for the Grizzlies, to start overtime, if I'm Ryan Kanaswich, I'm putting my best face-off man out there. I think I'm going to put Zach Sekos to start overtime, just knowing that 2 out of the 3 overtime games for Maverik Center ended within the first minute because the Steelheads won the opening draw, went into the Grizzlies zone, rotated the puck around to the point, and I think it was Hedrick on maybe both goals taking that shot, deflection out in front, boom, Idaho wins. And so I think if we see that again, I think we might lose our minds. I know I will. I know a lot of Grizzmania will just be shocked if that happens. So for the Grizzlies, I think that's got to be part of your game plan. You got to find a way to shut that down. There's no way that can happen 3 times in a row to you. So For the Grizzlies, I think the biggest thing here is possession. We talked about that being Idaho's bread and butter earlier on in the broadcast. You can't let them have it here in overtime. You really can't, because that might be the death of you here.
They show Matt Register on the Flow Sports feed. He's talking with Cam McGuire, the Idaho broadcaster. He's been missing in action for Idaho since game 2. This is the 4th straight game that he has missed. It's kind of interesting to talk about the constants for the Grizzlies. It's really been Betts and Wright. They combined on Utah's second period goal, 13-12 in, with Betts scoring his 3rd of the series, and Cameron Wright, who leads the Grizzlies with 7 points in this series. Dylan Fitz, scored there in the 3rd period. It was an interesting play. It was a 2-on-1. I think it was Nick Canati with the speed to the right side. He took too long making his move, and then it just kind of moving into the net and just crashed into the far post. And then, it got dislodged. But by then, the Grizzlies had possession. They went back the other way. I think Idaho got distracted by that a little bit, as Dylan Fitz just kind of skated to a spot he really liked in the right circle and just kind of fired it away onto Adam Scheel and beyond him to the goal, past the goal line. Fitz kind of scores a lot of his goals that way in the transition game, where he just kind of skates in a straight line to either the right circle or left circle and just kind of fire a quick-looking slap shot, which seems to be deadly accurate. Doesn't seem like he missed the net much on those, and so it's just kind of his bread and butter there that he scored on. It's going to be interesting to see the type of goal that gets scored. We saw a redirection the last couple games, and we saw a power play goal from the right wing by Niram in game 3. We've seen a lot of action out in front of the net. If both teams, if either team settles into the attack zone, I think you're going to see a lot of bodies out in front of the net hoping for a redirection. If AJ White's out there, you got to find a way to box him out and keep him out of there and root him out. It'll be interesting to see the type of goal that gets scored here to win it.
It's going to be interesting. And I mentioned before, if it's a tip in out in front, the Grizzlies are probably going to lose their minds, just because that seems what Idaho's been trying to do. So I think you talk about Dylan Fitz. This game just felt like a Dylan Fitz game. Just must-win situation. You need a guy to score in the clutch. It's Dylan Fitz. I mean, we talk about Cameron Wright and his game-winning goals in regular season leading off. But, how about Dylan Fitz? It just seems like whenever you need a big goal, boom, there he is. It's maybe he doesn't do anything for the whole game, but when you need him most, Dylan Fitz shows up. I think a few guys throughout the roster that can make an impact here in overtime. I look at Dakota Raby, scored that first goal in game 1, and has been pretty quiet ever since. It'd be a great time for him to really use his speed to his advantage and get the overtime winner. I also look at Brandon Cutler, who really has been snake bitten in the series, has looked great, just can't seem to find that goal. Great chance for him to get it here in overtime. So I don't think it really matters who the overtime hero is. I think Grizmania just wants to go home happy, knowing that we'll have another game here tomorrow night.
Who's going to get the game winner for the Grizzlies? And if you're a Steelhead fan, you're probably asking yourself, who's going to get the game winner for the Steelheads? When we come back in 1 minute, we'll have overtime for the 4th straight game, this time at Idaho Central Arena. Remember, the Grizzlies won in regulation in games 1 and 2 over in that building. We'll come back and have overtime as we're tied at 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
The winner of this series will take on the winner of the Allen. Well, they'll take on the Allen Americans. They don't have to just take on the winner of that series. Allen wins the series 4-2 as they got a Game 6 victory 2-1. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Chiarenza. Well, we do know the final score tonight is going to be 3-2. Who's it going to be? Idaho, the last 9 playoff victories against the Grizzlies have come in overtime. 3 this season. All 4 of Idaho's postseason wins against Utah in 2019 came in overtime as Idaho won that series 4-1. And back in 2015, Utah won the series 4-2. but the two Idaho victories both came in overtime. Idaho has not won in regulation in the postseason against the Grizzlies since April 23rd of 2010. Grizzlies won 7 playoff games against Idaho. All 7 of them have come in regulation. We know it's an outstanding goaltending matchup. It's been that way all series. Trent Miner has stopped 28 of 30. Adam Schill saved 18 of 20. Feels like puck possession is going to be the key for the Grizzlies here in overtime.
I agree, Tyson. When the Steelheads won their games in overtime, it was all about them possessing the puck. Grizzlies maybe had 1 or 2 chances over the course of those 3 overtime games to score. Steelheads had the puck for the majority of the time. That's why they were able to cycle it in the Grizzlies zone, get that look out in front, and then tip it in front of Miner, where they really didn't have a chance to save it.
20 minutes are on the stadium scoreboard clock in Idaho, and we'll play until somebody scores. Sudden death, we could be here all night, or we could be here in 30 seconds and end it. We will play until somebody scores a goal. Watch out for Jordan Kawaguchi. Also watch out for Owen Hedrick. He contributed to each of the last 2 game winners. He had 6 assists coming into play tonight in the series. He'll be on the bench. Ty Pelton-Bice, Ryan Domowski are also on the bench to start overtime. The 5-man unit for the Grizzlies to start OT looks like Nolan Ritchie, Cameron Wright, and Kyle Betts. Betts will take the face-off. James Shearer and Luke Martin are the defensive pairing for the Grizzlies. Wade Murphy's on the right wing. A.J. White will take the face-off. Casey Johnson and Dawson Bardo in there. I think that's Wade Murphy for Idaho as well. No, that's Jordan Kawaguchi. Grizzlies win the draw. Betts tried to dump it in. It's cut off by Bardo. He'll backhand it towards the Steelheads bench. Grizzlies skate from right to left here in overtime as we see it on Flow Sports. Betts dumps into the near corner. Bardo throws it to Casey Johnson, who feeds it to the far side. Grizzlies cut it off along the boards. Puck goes to center ice. Grizzlies gather it as Nolan Ritchie lifts it in. As the puck goes off the backboards of Idaho's zone, Steelheads get it. They skate from left to right. Idaho gets towards center ice. They'll chip a left wing pass. It bounced off of Ritchie's stick. It goes to center ice. Idaho drives it back in. It rolls around the boards. Throw now on the ice. Kyle Mayhew moves it ahead. Pfizer chases after it. He's behind Idaho's net. He'll chip it towards the near wing boards. Steelheads gather it as they'll skate towards neutral ice. Bice loses it as Zach Secco skates towards the right circle. Backhand shot. Saved by Shield. Good look by Zach Sekos, who got it in the left point, skated towards the right circle, fired a backhand shot, but Shield was able to make the save.
I like that chance by Sekos, really just moving in, trusting himself on the backhand. That's a sneaky shot, almost finds its way past Shield, but really in overtime, any shot is a good shot because you never know what it might hit out in front, might get a lucky bounce. Maybe the goaltender might see it. Any shot is a good shot here in overtime.
Good job by Adam Shield, coming out of his crease just enough to cut off that shooting angle that Sekos was looking for. Sekos will take the drive, wins it. Kyle Mayhew, right side. He'll chip it off the far corner. Grizzlies chase after it. Grizzlies fire towards the net. It bounced off a Steelhead. It goes to the high slot. Sekos over to Pfizer on the right wing. He'll take a righty shot that's blocked. Idaho gets out to center ice. Willie Niram gets taken away by Mayhew. Puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. Mayhew chases after it. Niram will skate towards the far corner. He gets pinned by Mayhew along the wall. As Sekos will bounce it off the Steelhead. It goes back towards Niram. But Sekos gets the puck and he'll move it ahead to Cutler, who will throw a right wing pass. It connects. Grizzlies skate in. Pfizer, backhand shot. Saved by Shield. Well, it looked like Pfizer was looking for a shot, and the Steelhead just hung on his side. Out of neutral ice, Idaho skates back in. Left circle, lefty shot, and that one goes wide. A minute and a half into overtime. We're tied at 2. As Haskinen dumps in from center ice, it's cut off by McDonald. As Grizzlies skate from right to left here in overtime, they'll feed it to the far side. As Grizzlies will move it towards Raby, and it goes past him. Idaho back up with it. As Haskinen near side moves it out to center ice. Keller couldn't reach it. It goes deep in the Grizzlies zone. Bryson Martin chases after it. He'll chip it over to the far side. Grizzlies will skip it into the Steelhead zone. Haskinen chases after it, and the arm is raised by the linesman as Utah's call for icing. With 17:53 left in overtime, but I do think the Grizzlies are doing a better job with puck possession here than they did in the first 3 overtime games.
Yeah, for sure, Tyson. It's really what you want to do if you're the Grizzlies is we talked about getting possession. I think right now, face-offs, we've talked about them all series long, have been critical, but here in overtime, that's magnified by 100 times because you win the face-off, you get possession.
Draw's going to be in the far circle of the Grizzlies zone. 17:53 left in overtime. Idaho wins the draw. Left wing, they fire a shot that's blocked. Puck goes to center ice. Idaho gathers it. They'll throw it back in. As McDonald gets it, he stations himself behind Trent Miner. He'll throw it to the far side. Grizzlies will lift it out to center ice, gathered by Martin in the left wing. He'll throw it towards the slot. It glanced off of Fitz's stick and goes to Idaho. As Kawaguchi slides it out to center ice, it goes to Murphy. He skates towards the right circle. Murphy with the righty shot. Kick saved by Miner. Rebound goes out towards the near corner. Murphy battles with two Grizzlies. Now Kawaguchi joins the play. He gets the puck. He'll throw it towards the slot. It's taken away by Utah. Kyle Betts carries it out to center ice. 2-on-2. Right wing pass towards Cameron Wright. He'll skate towards the right circle. Take a shot that goes wide. Make that Dylan Fitz. Fitz with a shot, and it went wide. I think Schill might have gotten a piece of it. As the puck goes to Kyle Betts, left wing. He'll skate towards the circle. Betts fires it to Ritchie. Couldn't handle it. Puck goes to the far corner. Idaho gathers it, and they'll clean it out to center ice. Looking for Franklin. Pass is incomplete, and icing is on the Steelheads with 16:55 left here in overtime number 1.
Well, that icing totally benefits the Grizzlies, Tyson. I mean, all the Steelheads that were on the ice before have to stay out there, so they're a little bit tired. But for the Grizzlies, this is a free draw in the offensive zone. If you're able to win this, you can cycle up to the point and do exactly what Idaho did to you here at Maverik Center. Take a blast from the blue line, hope it hits something in front, and then you live to see another day in Game 7.
Hope you took your blood pressure medication, as you're going to need it, as John's going to be in the nearest circle. 16:55 left in overtime number 1. The season is on the line for the Grizzlies. Idaho leads the best-of-7 set, 3-2. We're tied at 2 here in Game 6. Idaho wins the draw. The winner will take on the Allen Americans, the winner of this series. If Utah wins tonight, we have a Game 7. Puck at center ice. Grizzlies dropping off as Ritchie skates towards the right circle. Banned on a shot as it glides slowly towards the end wall as Idaho feeds it to the near side. Now the puck lifts in the air as it goes into the Grizzlies zone. Though chases after it, and he gets it. No icing on the play. Skates around Miner's net. He'll move it to Cameron Wright, who gets to neutralize. Wright gets around two Steelheads. He'll dump it in. Casey Johnson for Idaho chases after it. He's got 2 assists tonight as he skates towards the near side with speed. Johnson moves out towards center ice. Sekos cuts him off. Now another Steelhead gets it. They skate towards the left circle. Shot and a score. Jack Becker wins it. As Idaho goes crazy, they win the series. Becker scores from the left point. And it's another heartbreaking loss for the Grizzlies as Idaho moves on. And they face Allen in the Mountain Division Finals. And the Utah Grizzlies are eliminated from the Kelly Cup playoffs. Jack Becker scores 3:48 into overtime as he just got into the zone and just fired away. A puck that looked like it surprised Trent Miner a little bit. I think he thought that Becker was going to skate more towards the circle. And this season is over as the Steelheads, once again, for the second straight postseason, have won 4 straight overtime games against the Grizzlies. As Idaho won 4 straight overtime games against the Grizzlies in 2019 and here in 2023, after the Grizzlies won the first 2 games on the road, 4 straight overtime games. The Grizzlies are dejected towards Trent Miner as they're just waiting to start the handshake line. And the Grizzlies gave Idaho all they can handle. And you think about the standings where Idaho was in the regular season. Obviously, they're an outstanding club. But, Guy, you can't say that Idaho is head and shoulders that much better than the Grizzlies. Based on all 4 games ending in overtime, the Grizzlies did not lose a single game in this series in regulation. And yet, in 6 games, they're going home.
That's just how it is sometimes. I mean, you think about pucks bouncing one way and differently in one game. Grizzlies win a game here. Different. I mean, it's a matter of 1 goal in a lot of these games. And so sometimes that's just how it shakes out. Heartbreaking for the Grizzlies. Really gave the Steelheads everything they had. Never once did I doubt the confidence of these Grizzlies, the passion. They came out here, laid their line, laid it out. They just left everything out on the ice, even here today. And so for the Grizzlies, this is one that's going to stink, but you take it and you learn from it, and they'll be back next year.
Obviously, with so much roster movement from year to year, the story of every team changes. For the Grizzlies, there was a lot of adversity in the regular season. They battled hard in the final 3 weeks of the regular season just to make the playoffs. They went 6-1-2, or maybe 6-2-1 in their last 9 games just to reach the playoffs. They show the Becker game winner. The handshake line is formed at center ice. Jack Becker gets a lot of airtime as he gets the game winner in overtime. Becker wearing number 27. He's one of the bigger Steelheads. He's listed at about 6'4" and 215 pounds. Handshake line continues as Idaho wins 3-2 in overtime. They won 4 straight overtime games, and I think what makes this a tough pill to swallow for the Grizzlies is the fact that they had a 2-0 series lead, winning both games on the road, and just couldn't find a way to protect home ice. And, Idaho's an outstanding team, and I think the thing was, first 3 minutes of overtime there, you had to feel good about the puck possession, as we were talking about. It's just Idaho had that one look, and Ryan Kanaswich and Jared Pike and the Grizzlies staff handshakes all around, and here virtually we'll shake Cam McGuire's hand, the Idaho broadcaster. We want to thank everybody who tuned in all season long on Flow Sports and on the Grizzlies audio channel, which is on YouTube. It's kind of a new innovation we came up with this season. And, it's essentially our radio broadcast with everybody watching us watch a hockey game. When we come back in 30 seconds, we'll officially start the post-game show. Once again, the final score from Idaho Central Arena, the Idaho Steelheads 3 and the Utah Grizzlies 2, as Idaho wins the best-of-7 series 4-2. They will take on the Allen Americans in the Mountain Division Finals. And for the Utah Grizzlies, the season comes to an end. We're back in 30 seconds on the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I guess we dust off the golf clubs and test our golf swings out. A tough loss for the Grizzlies. Like I said, for the second straight playoff series against Idaho, Utah did not lose in regulation, and yet they're going home. As after Utah won 2 straight regulation games to start the series, I think that's what makes this so tough. It's the fact that Idaho won 4 straight overtime games. And you think about the goal differential in the 6 games. It was dead even. Utah had 17 goals and Idaho had 17 goals. But I think the difference probably is Idaho found a way to win 4 straight overtime games. And that's really why Idaho had the record they had in the regular season, 58 wins in the regular year, which is the most in league history, and why they've probably got a good chance to go all the way. Win the Western Conference. They'll take on Allen in the second round. Maybe they'll take on Toledo or Cincinnati in the third round. And then, once you get past that, who knows who they'll face in the Kelly Cup Finals, some team from the Eastern Conference. Florida looks like they might put together a case in the South Division. For the Grizzlies, I don't think they really care because they're not going to be in it. Tough loss, and really for the Grizzlies, it was a season where at one point in the middle of it, they were in last place in the division. Utah had to battle just to make the postseason. They played well the final 2 months. They found a way to climb into the playoffs, and like we mentioned before, they gave Idaho, the team with the best record in the league, all they could handle in a 6-game series. For the 5th time in the series, the team that scored first ended up winning the game. Zane Franklin, 9:04 into the contest, scored, but Ty Pelton-Bice and Casey Johnson getting the assists. Idaho led 1-0 after one period. They outshot the Grizzlies 10-8 in the first period. 13-12 into the second, Kyle Betts got his third of the year third of the playoffs with Cameron Wright getting the assists. The score was tied 1-1 after 2 periods. Idaho outshot Utah 11-9 in the second period. In the third frame, both teams scored 1 goal. Dylan Fitz unassisted, 8:58 in, gave Utah a 2-1 lead. And then A.J. White tied it up 10:34 in, his third of the series, with Casey Johnson and Wade Murphy getting the assists. We headed to overtime. Utah actually outshot Idaho 3-2 in overtime. Zach Sekos had a good look on a backhand shot from the right circle. But Jack Becker got the puck. It looked like at neutral ice, Idaho ended up with the puck. It looked like there was a couple Grizzlies off balance trying to find the puck. It ended up with Becker. He skated more towards the circle after seeing the replay than I originally thought. Though it was in the area right in front of him, and then Becker just fired away, and it got past the Utah netminder. And Jack Becker is being interviewed right now on the Idaho feed. he gets the game winner. I imagine he's the number one star tonight. And that's really the tough thing about Idaho is it's a different hero just about every game. It's a puck at neutral ice. Sekos and Wright were in the area. They were just not balanced. And then Becker just skated to the circle and just got one past Trent Miner. And it looks like the crowd in Idaho went absolutely nuts after the Steelheads scored that goal. For my money, it's the best rivalry in the league. These teams ended up meeting 26 times this season. Twice in the preseason, another 18 times in the regular year, 6 times here in the playoffs. You know, Idaho had a strong edge in the regular season. Obviously, they're an outstanding team, but as we talked about coming into this series, the Grizzlies, with some of the additions they made and really with Trent Miner playing his best coming into the postseason, Grizzlies really had a chance, despite the fact that, you know, Idaho, and really once the regular season ends, you throw all that out the window. The Grizzlies were a little bit closer to the Steelheads than what the regular season standings would say. The first two. I'm not getting choked up there. I just swallowed on some air. I'm not getting choked up. I'm not getting emotional, please. But the Grizzlies won the first 2 games on the road, and after that, it was just, you know, every game was up for grabs. You know, every game ended up in overtime from there on in. Idaho just simply found a way to win, and you got to give them credit for that. But it's just, you know, it's just kind of a tough pill to swallow because the Grizzlies kind of have that feeling that they were just that close. They really wasn't that big of a margin between the Grizzlies and still had certainly a closer margin than what the regular season records would say.
What a season for the Grizzlies, Tyson. I mean, they were at one point last in the Mountain Division, and they rallied back, found a way to make the playoffs. And they were in this series because they improved as a team, yes, but because they believed. They believed that they could go toe-to-toe with the best team in the league and give them a run for their money. They believed that they could win this series. And maybe if they get a bounce here, a bounce there, maybe they do. I guess we'll never know, as 4 games ended in overtime with Idaho winning all 4 of them. It's just one of those things where it sucks to see the Grizzlies lose, but at least in my eyes, I can confidently say that the Grizzlies gave them everything they had. I mean, they left no questions out on the ice. They really put their heart and soul into this series, and they just came up this short. For me in this series, I think the Grizzlies lost this series in Game 4, despite the good performances in Games 5 and 6. I really feel like Game 4 was the turning point in this series. The Grizzlies come back home with a 2-0 series lead. They have a chance to, I mean, if you get one of those wins at Maverik Center, you have a 3-2 lead going back to Idaho Central Arena for this game right here, Game 6. So for the Grizzlies, you had a 4-2 lead in Game 4 at Maverik Center, and couldn't get it done. You lost that game in overtime. I think that was the turning point for me. That let Idaho get back into the series. It was a 2-2 series after that. And the Grizzlies' inability to win at home and really put the Steelheads away, that's what cost them this series. And for me, I think there's a lot of optimism with this Grizzlies team. They're a very young team. You look at Idaho, they've got a lot of veterans. They got a lot of guys that know how to win. You look at A.J. White, you look at Matt Register, who, even though he didn't play in this series, was a factor in it. I mean, they've got guys throughout the lineup that know how to get it done, those veterans. So I think for the Grizzlies, it's a young team. You take this experience, you learn from it. They'll be back next year. Mark my words, the Utah Grizzlies are a team to watch out for in the 2024 season.
Obviously, the roster changes so much from year to year. But I think that some of the young guys, you know, we saw some of the guys from last year's club that came back, and they had pretty good years. You know, if Zach Sekos is healthy for an entire season, you're talking about an impact player. When he was healthy, he was an impact guy. You know, Taryn Pfizer had 27 goals this year. I mean, it's hard to say whether these guys would come back. I mean, especially the players that are good enough to get AHL deals, either with the Colorado Eagles or they get AHL deals somewhere else. You know, hard to say. I mean, Cameron Wright's one of those guys. He can end up being an AHL player next year. Is that with Colorado or is it with another organization? It's kind of hard to say. Normally, when you sign a guy either out of juniors or out of college, you end up getting them back the next year. I'd be very optimistic to see what the full season would look like. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think his game's pretty similar to Zach Sekos, and I think he could have a similar type of season. You know, Kyle Bett's one of those guys. You know, he spent just about the entire year in the AHL. Is that going to be the case again next season, or is he somebody that could end up seeing himself back in a Grizzlies uniform? You know, Kyle Mayhew's somebody, you know, that unfortunately, because of Mayhew's size, that might limit him to this league, but that might make him a Grizzly next year. And he was lethal. His speed, his playmaking potential, and he's got some scoring touch. You know, he looks like he could be a pretty good scorer in this league which may not be necessarily be something that he was able to exhibit as much at the University of Denver. He's got a lot of potential, and, Trent Miner will be on the last year of a 3-year NHL entry-level deal. I think he should be an AHL guy next season, but I thought that last year. I thought Miner should have spent, because he's that type of goalie. I know that obviously it didn't go his way in overtime in any of these 4 games, but Trent Miner did a great job in every single game to keep the Grizzlies in it. Even the game that, Idaho won 6-5, Miner kept the Grizzlies in that game as well. So he'll stay in the organization, but there's so much roster movement that from year to year, the story is always unique and it's always different. That's part of what makes each season fun. But unfortunately, it just kind of, from my eyes, it kind of reminds me and has a very eerie feeling of that 2019 playoffs where the Grizzlies faced Idaho in the first round. Grizzlies won the first game 7-1, and then Idaho came in and won 4 straight overtime games after that, with the final 3 being at Maverik Center. That was the story of that season. And this year, the fact they ended up playing Idaho 18 times in the regular season as opposed to some of those other clubs, probably why the Grizzlies had to face Idaho in the first round as opposed to playing somebody else. But that's just the way it goes. It's just part of the story of the season.
I got to give a lot of credit to the Idaho Steelheads, Coach Everett Sheen. They were down 2-0 after losing 2 home games, had to go on the road and find a way to get it done, and they did. And they're a resilient group, and they do have what it takes to go far in the Kelly Cup playoffs. But I certainly think that playing against the Allen Americans, they're going to have to shape up a little bit if they want a chance to win that series. That should be a lot of fun to watch. But for the Grizzlies, I mean, you went toe-to-toe with the best team in the league. The team that broke the wins record this season, a team that broke the home wins record this season. You were able to go into their barn and win more than anybody else. So a lot of positives for the Grizzlies this season. You talk about how young the roster is. You mentioned some really good names on this Grizzlies roster that hopefully will be back next year. So the Grizzlies have a making of being a really good team. And for me, sometimes you see these teams in the NHL that the very young team slides into the playoffs, have a very tough opening round series, but really transcend to the next level the next year. I think that's what we could be looking at here with the Grizzlies. Only time will tell, but I mean, you pair a lot of really great players with an excellent coaching staff in Kanasowicz and Pike. They got the makings of something special.
I think that's really part of the foundation. You got an outstanding coaching staff. Ryan Kanasowicz, I think, is one of the best coaches in the league. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. He just has a strong foundation. He likes a team with skill, playmaking, and speed. That's why the Grizzlies were fast last season. And even though it seems like other teams have a little bit more size than the Grizzlies, Utah's got that size, speed, and playmaking ability. And that's something that's going to continue year in and year out as long as Kanasowicz is the head coach of the Grizzlies. I think they're in a good place there. Utah just faced some real adversity the first half of the season, losing so many key players to AHL call-ups, and some of them they never got back. You never did see Nate Klurman. Once Ben Tardif got called up, he ended up getting traded to the Hartford Wolfpack of the AHL, which is Jackson. Tardif ended up getting traded for Luke Martin. We saw Martin, but it was, towards the very end of the regular season. So, the Grizzlies didn't have Tardif. They didn't have quite a few other players for a while because the Avalanche and the Colorado Eagles were suffering a bunch of injuries in their own right. And then it just seemed like the Grizzlies were just battling inconsistent play. And it didn't help that they played the Steelheads just about every other week, who were a juggernaut this season. And so because of that, I think you and I both knew, late January into February, I think we both knew that going into the second half of the season that the Grizzlies were going to be fine because they'd play the Steelheads a little bit less and the schedule would lighten up. They had some troubles against Allen. I think really the turning point in the season, the first 4 games in February, the Grizzlies lost and they got blown out in all 4 games. And I think we were wondering where was the season headed at that point. Sounded like they had a very spirited morning skate before the February 11th game in Rapid City, a very spirited morning skate. And it ended up turning the season around, almost one of those look in the mirror and figure out how to become a better team. And it seemed like for whatever reason, everything changed at that point. The Grizzlies turned it around. They went to the East Coast, had a successful road trip in late February, came back to Maverik Center. They're able to win some games against Kansas City. Really, I think the first 5 games in March, when they swept Wichita in a 2-game series and then swept Kansas City in a 3-game set here at Maverik Center, that turned the season around. And then it was just kind of a battle for the playoff spot from there on. Grizzlies had their adversity. They faced it. And, they ended up playing pretty well the last 2 months just to get to the postseason. And then once they got there, I think everybody knew it was going to be tough. But the interesting thing is, talking to everybody in the locker room, they all felt confident they were going to win this series. They, to a man, all felt like they play their game, that they had a chance in this series. And despite losing in 6 games, I don't think the Grizzlies have anything to be ashamed of. I think they gave the Steelheads a run for their money and gave them all that they can handle. And tip your hat to the Steelheads. They played an outstanding series, and they really were able to get it done in overtime when it mattered the most. But I don't think the Grizzlies have anything to be ashamed of.
No, Tyson, not at all. Really, just it's bittersweet to see the Grizzlies lose this series. It stinks. You don't want them to be out of the playoffs, but you can't help but look at how far they came. I mean, you talked about losing a ton of games, the Idaho Steelheads, to start the season. Last place at one point. You think about the blowouts against Allen, and then finally they found a way to turn things around. It's really nice to see the Grizzlies have that turnaround, because we were sitting here and we're like, oh, we don't really know where the season's going to go. Yeah. I mean, we look at the Norfolk Admirals and the other side of the bracket in the other conference and say, oh, well, could be worse. And so the Grizzlies found a way to turn things around and got a lot of confidence in this coaching staff, a lot of confidence in these players next year. Hopefully the Grizzlies are able to bring back a lot of these guys, because I think they do have a good foundation here of players who have bought into the Kanasowicz system, really understand how it works. So if you can bring a lot of those guys back and then improve on it, when we saw Kanasowicz and Pike just really have a knack for finding talent. I mean, Nolan Ritchie comes from the Brandon Wheat Kings. You think about Kyle
the Martell trade, just a complete one-sided trade.
The Tho trade. And so just finding those players and bringing them in here, they got a knack for spotting talent. So I think they're going to go into the offseason looking for guys they want to bring to this team. And I think that Grizzlies are going to reload and be ready for the 2024 season. I think there's a lot of optimism here in the Salt Lake Valley.
Oh, we got a lot of people to thank. Obviously, it's the last broadcast of the year. Thanks to Nick Hayes for giving us food and drinks there. High Top Section 114 for home games. A lot of great fans we've interacted with this season. Everybody on the live chat on YouTube, which we probably look at more than we probably should. But it can be fun sometimes. Enjoyed all the fans that we hung out with. High Top Section 114 this season. Want to thank everybody for listening on Flow Sports and watching on Flow Sports. And we do want to everybody that hung with us here for the remote broadcast. As obviously it's very less than ideal for broadcasters professionally to get everything right. And the thing that the trick for calling hockey is being ahead of the play. It's almost impossible to be ahead of the play when you really can't see the surrounding and the entire ice. You can't see the surrounding areas. And so I'm always concerned about it coming into remote broadcast, because I think it affects my ability to sound like an NHL type of broadcaster. And really, this is not some fun hobby for me. This is my passion. This really is the only passion I have in my life. I'm pretty lame otherwise. I'm a 35-year-old that lives in his parents' basement. And speaking of which, faced a lot of adversity. I lost my mom here this past December. This season was pretty tough on me. There was some other stuff professionally that was just pretty tough as well. And we just had to overcome it. And we had a lot of fun this season, and had a lot of moments. Good moments, bad moments. We just had a lot of things happen this season. Both good and bad. And at the end of the day, I got a dream. I got a dream to be a big-time broadcaster, either in Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. I'm kind of hoping that this season I was able to get a little bit closer to that goal and that dream. And I know one thing, Guy, your future is probably a little bit brighter than mine. I don't know. What are you going to graduate from the University of Utah later this week? That's going to be great. If the office convinces me, I'm probably going to go down there among the big crowd over there at Utah and watch you graduate. There's a couple people here that worked in the office that Karen used to be here, and Allison, she's going to graduate from the University of Utah as well. I know your future is brighter than mine. And whether it's here next year or whether it's somewhere else, I'm really looking forward, and I'll make sure I'll help you along the way anywhere I can. But it was a ton of fun this season.
Thank you, Tyson. I mean, oh man, I don't want to choke up here, but it's emotional, really. First and foremost, I would also like to thank the fans, especially Nick Hayes, for bringing us food. I mean, all the fans throughout the course of the season have been awesome. I mean, I've said it a lot of times this season, Grizzmania, you're the best in the game, really. It's my first season as a broadcaster, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a lot of fun interacting with the fans, and thank you for the Grizzlies organization for having me here this year. But I mean, thank you, Tyson. I mean, you talk about your big time dream. I mean, I've got that dream as well. Called you up in the summer, asked if I could come work for you, and you said yes, and you took that chance on me and really gave me that chance to really just develop and become a broadcaster just like you. And so, I mean, just this season has had its ups and downs. There's been some low points, but there's also been some really fun points. And when we think about that epic belch from the Rapid City game, was a lot of fun. And we've had a lot of good jokes this season, and you've helped me transform into a broadcaster, but you've also been a really good friend to me. I think that, this season has been awesome. These memories, well, it's just one season. I don't know where I'm going to be next year. Might be here. I'd love to come back to the Grizzlies next season. I don't know where it's going to be, but these memories, they'll last with me for a lifetime. And so I wouldn't have it any other way. Just really happy to spend this season with you. It's been awesome. To a great season. It's been great. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
No, thank you. You were outstanding, and that outstanding is probably not even a strong enough word. It was a ton of fun this season. And really, the only shame of it's that now the season's over. It's just like maybe we'll just come here a random weekend, just watch a random game. Maybe we'll just put it on YouTube and just start calling it. Maybe we just make up a game. I don't know. We got to find something here.
We'll do something. Maybe we should start a sports talk show. Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like a YouTube show or something. That could suit us. But I don't want to forget about Kiki Crum. She's not here today. Just kind of space. She wasn't here at the last game too. But I also like to thank Kiki for being with us this season. She was awesome, writing all those post game stories for the Utah Grizzlies website. And but it's been great. I mean, I really wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, my first season as a broadcaster, just awesome. Really fantastic. And it's all because you have me over here. So thank you, Tyson. Thank you.
First year, you were like a 10-year veteran. You were really on point all season long. A lot of fun people we hang out with in the office here at Maverik Center. It's a shame we don't get to hang out with Angelina anymore, but
yeah,
she's in a good place. She's working for the Cronkies. She's in Denver with the Avalanche and the Nuggets, and the Nuggets are still in the NBA playoffs. And hanging out with Tanner Walker, just had a baby either last week or the week before, and so we haven't seen him for a little bit. But we thank Tanner for everything this season. He helped get us set up on YouTube. I know it's a different setup this season, and there were some adjustments to be made, and it's weird kind of seeing ourselves there while we're watching a hockey game, and kind of took some adjustments. But Tanner was outstanding, and Noah took over for Angelina late in the season. He'll do an outstanding job next year. Hanging out with Greg in the office next to me, and Jared Youngman and Brian Pruch and Jill and Whitney and Marnie in the office. And you talk about the great ticket staff, Millionaires Row with Spencer Hess and Sophia and Bo. Love talking football with Bo. He's a big BYU fan, big Dallas Cowboys fan. It's been kind of a rough go of it for him, but we enjoy each other's company, enjoy having Kieran in the office. So, he's moving on to San Diego, and he's going to San Diego State next season. For all the catering people, Colin Lee's wife that we see, and Andrea and Lizzie. And it's just, there's a whole bunch of people, here there that make Grizzlies hockey possible and make it fun. And want to thank everybody. We want to thank everybody for listening. Sometimes it can be difficult. It's just weird. It probably was a little bit of a transition for fans going, wait a minute, YouTube video, yet where
it's just two guys watching a hockey game.
It's just kind of like our version of the radio. It's pretty unique, but I'm hoping it's unique enough that we can get the Broadcaster of the Year award. And even though my name might be on the award, I'm inscribing your name in there on the award as well. Hopefully we get it.
Listen, if anybody deserves the Broadcaster of the Year award, it's this guy. Not only for his outstanding play-by-play, but the preparation he takes to prepare for each game, every single game. I mean, he puts his life into this profession. And these remote broadcasts are not easy, man. Like you see us watching a hockey game, but it's a lot more complex than that. I mean, we've dealt with screen freezes, internet issues, just crappy camera angles. I mean, we got to see Nuggets' birthday party, which was
that's right,
which was nice.
We probably missed a goal though.
Yeah, we missed a goal one time because of all that. So I mean, it's frustrating at times. So, but I mean, you find a way to make it sound like a pro. So just keep that in mind. It's been a heck of a season. It's been a lot of fun, and it's had its turbulence, but in the end, like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way. Been so much fun. And for the people in the office, I don't necessarily know all of your names, but for the people that I have met, you guys have all been awesome. Made a lot of really nice friends this season. A lot of people that I'll talk to for a lifetime. So thank you to everybody here in the Grizzlies office. Thank you to all the fans. And once again, thank you to you, Tyson.
Thank you. You were outstanding this year. And, if I'm running a hockey team, if I'm running any sports team, if I'm running a sports talk radio show, hey, this guy'd be perfect.
Right back at you, buddy. If we somehow find a way, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Play-by-play announcer, weekday sports talk radio host at a prominent radio station. That's the goal.
Nice.
That's a nice life goal to have.
That sounds pretty nice. Sounds good to me.
Now, if we can just get there, then we'll be in business. But hey, it was a lot of fun this season. We'll be here all night just thanking everybody.
There's a lot of people.
It'll be midnight. We'll be sitting there rattling off names. It's just there's a lot of people that contribute to everything.
There's a long list, and like I said, I'm not even sure I know who all their names. But I mean, if you're listening right now and you're watching it on the YouTube replay, you know who you are. From the bottom of my heart, for everybody here at the Utah Grizzlies, thank you. It's been an excellent season, and watch out for the Utah Grizzlies in 2023-2024. I think they got something good kicking up. Thank you, Grizzmania. You've been awesome.
Grizzmania was running wild all year. In fact, attendance was up by about 1,000 per game this season. That was certainly great to see. The sky's the limit for the Grizzlies next season. Obviously, it's going to be a different roster as it is every year. But I got a feeling that, if Ryan Kanasowicz is at the helm, the Grizzlies going to be pretty good once again next season. They won the division title last year. There was a little bit of turbulence there in the middle of the season, but Grizzlies really did a good job battling and earning a playoff spot, and they gave the Idaho Steelheads all they could handle in 6 straight games. 5 straight one-goal games. Idaho ended up winning 4 of them, and I think what makes it a little bit tough is the fact that the Grizzlies, looked so good the first 2 games of the series, won both of them on the road, came back to Maverik Center, and didn't lose in regulation. All of them went to overtime, and it's just Grizzlies gave them all they can handle, but just Idaho was able to come away with some plays at the end, and we give our virtual handshake to Cam McGuire and his crew over there in Idaho, and a job well done to the Steelheads. And, for the Grizzlies, it was a good season. It was a lot of fun watching. It really was an aesthetically pleasing team to watch. Great speed. It was just a lot of playmaking, and really the type of hockey that fits Ryan Kanasowicz's style is really a type of hockey that's fun to watch. And we hope that coming up this upcoming October, see a lot of fans here at Maverik Center. Who knows where we'll be, but we know that we'll be watching. Maybe we'll be here. Who really knows? But it was a ton of fun this season. I guess it's tough for it to end. We might just be here till midnight unless we just close things up. But it's really been a lot of fun. Guy, thanks for everything.
Thank you, Tyson. It's been awesome.
The Idaho Steelheads come away with a victory, 3-2 the final score, and I guess it's kind of that weird feeling where you want to have one of those postseason parties, but it's tough to do after a loss. Utah did outshoot Idaho 3-2 in overtime, but once again, the Steelheads came out on top. 3 stars of the game. A.J. White is the 3rd star. He had 1 goal and was a +2. 2nd star, Casey Johnson, the defenseman for Idaho, who was a +3 and had 2 assists. Number 1 star is the game winner, Jack Becker. He really was a role player for Idaho all season long, but Idaho's got so many role players that contribute mightily to their cause. Becker had 12 goals and 21 assists in 49 games this season. He was particularly good against Utah. He had 5 or 6 goals against the Grizz in the regular season. Once again, we want to thank everybody who tuned in on Flow Sports for the video feed and on our audio broadcasts on YouTube all season long. Well, we'll be back this upcoming October for the 2023-24 season. Thanks to everybody who tuned in all year and all the fans that said hi. And boy, hopefully this offseason will go by quickly. In the meantime, we'll work on our golf swings and see if we can cut down our handicap in half. Yeah, fat chance of that happening. But as long as we hit them straight and hit them long, then again, our putters are probably going to let us down as it does every year. But it was a lot of fun this season. The Grizzlies gave Idaho all they can handle. in a 6-game series. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast of not necessarily the final outcome. Once again, in 2 hours and 56 minutes and in front of a crowd of 4,509 over at Idaho Central Arena, the Utah Grizzlies, their season comes to an end as they lose to Idaho 3-2 in overtime. For Kiki Crum, we want to thank everything that she did all season long. For Guy Chiarenza, who's just outstanding guy. Hopefully we'll see each other next season. I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is.